some socks.
Oh, nice.
Few new books.
You are old, man. You got socks and books. Did you get a nice new tie? Did you get a tie with like the golf flags on it and like a green with the...
I did get golf shoes.
Well, that's not bad. That's actually pretty good.
It is funny when you get older. And I was asking a lot of the guests this. What age do socks become a good gift? And we all settled on late 20s. Because once you hit late 20s, you're like, I really want some new socks, but I don't want to buy them myself.
Because socks are expensive.
Yes.
And so it's like if you want to get some really, really nice, comfy socks, I mean, those things can be worth a lot of money.
I was walking
more
around
than I want to pay for them.
Prior to Christmas in my Timberlands, and they're like 13 years old. These things are old. They're broken in. They're comfy. But I
was walking around in my Cortezes, so I mean, it's all good.
Yeah. And my sock was so limp. It's just out here. You know when it just the elasticity's gone, and it ends up by your toes. You're like, what? It's not even a sock anymore. This is a toe protector at this point. So that's when I knew it was time for new socks. So I was thrilled.
You wanted some new toe protectors.
Yes,
is what you were looking for. Not bad. Yeah. Yeah, you do get pretty old when you want some socks and things like that. But it's a nice gift.
It's a great gift.
I'll take some socks. Michael, did you enjoy your Christmas? You enjoy your time off?
I ended up getting the flu on Christmas.
Awesome.
So
Good
that
for you.
weekend, I don't really remember a lot of it. It was like a 36-hour hibernation.
There you go.
So honestly, not bad.
I've been there before. We had that earlier this year for me when I went to sleep on a Monday and woke up on a Thursday.
Oh, yeah, I forgot about that. Yeah.
That was rough, man. But yeah, it wasn't over the Christmas holidays. Thankfully for me, with the kids and everything and around family. But that's unfortunate for you. But I'm glad it was okay.
I told Deeves, I was like, I was falling asleep during that Chiefs game, and he goes, I think everyone was.
You weren't the only one.
See, when we did something without you here, Jason, and this is why you can't leave us alone, because when you leave us alone, Darcy says things like this, which he's going to pull up in 1 second.
Yeah.
But we had talked about it before the show, but I did kind of put him on the spot early here. I said at some point we're going to do this, and then I realized
at some point,
and then I realized, hey,
that some point is 10 minutes into the show.
Into the show. So that
Matt Nagy, super ultra naughty, the naughtiest, some would say. He's naughty by proxy.
For a second, I thought you were going to say, what's his present? Is it going to be handcuffs, and you're going to leave him, handcuff him in Tennessee so he can't get on the flight back?
Yeah.
This is why you can't leave us.
Yeah.
Because we do naughty or nice, and Matt Nagy was extremely naughty, according to Darcy.
Do you think when he tries to call a play, like Andy puts one of those balls in his mouth, where like, and then the leather strap back there?
It's a gimp suit.
It's a gimp suit. Puts the lotion in the basket.
Okay, hear me out, though.
He puts the lotion on his skin, or he gets the hose again.
Okay, hear me out.
What has become of this show already?
Yeah. Well, this is the time between Christmas and the New Year where it's a transformation period.
Okay.
And I think for reviews that we should have a guy who has no idea, because the call on the field shouldn't matter. Shouldn't matter.
Okay, so in the review, you shouldn't know what the call on the field was.
You should know.
You should hear the review.
You just need a guy who is sequestered in Secaucus.
Okay.
Has no idea what's going on.
Yeah.
You have him in like a prison, and he can't do anything. You give him some food, obviously, make sure he's well taken care of.
Okay.
But he has no idea the play call. He's not watching the game.
Depends on, was it white collar crime? Because then that's already happening.
And then
he's got food and is well taken care of anyway.
So what you do is you just don't pay attention. So he has no idea. He's not watching any of the game. All of a sudden you say, "Hey guy, complete or incomplete?
Right.
Is this the right call?" He has no idea what the call on the field is, and then he makes the decision.
And then at that point, they're like, okay, so what's the definition of complete or complete this year? Because I know it was like 3 years ago or 2 years ago. So he got 2 steps down. That was always a completion, right? Yes, he did. But then he didn't make a football move. But I thought the 2 steps down meant that was a completion. Yeah, at some point that was. But then we decided to make it even more complicated because apparently you have to die with the football in your hands and get buried. And if the football falls out in the burial process or the cremation process, it is no longer a catch. Did you make a football move and then attempt to weave out of traffic?
Sebastian, who is sequestered in Secaucus, is making these calls. That's all I'm saying. This is a great move.
I like it. He's got to be Sebastian. He's got to be somebody named Sebastian. Seabass.
And he's sequestered in Secaucus. And this is the way of the new NFL referees. This is how they get better.
Great. It could be Sebastian Mack. He's not doing really anything either. 913-912-4810 is the text line to join us. 913-912-4810. That's how the show lines up. Hope everybody did enjoy the holidays, and New Year's right around the corner on Thursday, and then all the bowl games and everything. We'll have them for you right here on Sports Radio 810 WHB. A little NFL action tonight with Rams and Falcons. Let's go, Birds. Let's go, Falcons. Come on now. Let's go, Falcons. Here we go. Let's get this win tonight, man. Let's go. Let's get a top 10 pick here in April. Let's roll, man. Let's start off, though, first of all, I'll get into at some point today my thoughts on the stadium. You know, it's odd. I haven't heard anybody weigh in.
No.
You know, I've
never talked about it.
I'm sitting here going, how is nobody talking about or writing about the stadium deal? Like, this is a team that's moving across the state line and not a peep. I mean, church mice all over the city, nothing. All over the country, nothing. Not even an acknowledgement of that happening. It's very weird. Now, I haven't listened to the radio or read anything all of last week, so I'm just going to assume nobody has said anything, which is weird that would be the case. But at some point, we may talk about it here on the show, at least give my thoughts, because I've got some thoughts.
This show, we broke it, Darcy. Petro broke it the week prior, but the live breaking.
The live breaking.
The live
you broke
breaking.
it live while Petro had already broke it.
LCC meeting?
LCC.
Yeah.
Yep. The LCC meeting, yes. Petro broke it. Others tried to...
We tried to fix it.
Well, Petro
He broke it, and then we tried to fix it and piece it back together.
Thought it was funny. Others tried to sort of...
Yeah, I know. Take credit for Petro?
Sort of... coattail that thing. But yes, Petro's had it for a while now.
Yeah.
And so, yes, that's right here on Sports Radio 810 WHB. And of course, in the zone, we'll completely take credit for Seren doing that.
1,000%.
Totally us for Seren doing that. It was great. But yes, he's put in a lot of work in the time, and which is great because he puts in the work, and then it happens on our show. It's fantastic. Thank you, sir.
Great.
Appreciate
You're welcome,
that, man. I mean, that's just, he's a giver. He's always been a giver. Christmas spirit, that guy is, and constantly. He's just a jolly fella. Just a jolly fella with a bowl full of jelly. Or a belly full of jelly. I'm not sure. So we'll talk about it at some point. But let's start with some football non-Chiefs related. So Missouri ends their season over the weekend. And I said on Sunday Sound Off last night, Sterling, that, you know, the Raiders have a commitment to excellence, whether that is real or not. You know, the commitment to excellence, just win, baby, all of that stuff. What I appreciate about Eli Drinkwitz and this Missouri team this year is their commitment to consistency. To consistently show that they have wasted a college football playoff defense by having one of the most anemic offenses with playmakers on the field and one of the best running backs in America, and a running game by a head coach, oddly enough, that has produced not one, not two, but the top 3 single-season rushing records in Mizzou history. The man can design a run game and knows what a running back looks like, but is clueless on whatever it takes to be a team that can coach up, develop, or have a passing game and any sort of dynamism at the most important position on the field. I never thought I would see a Missouri team or a team locally that would have so many other pieces in place to compete in the SEC, but the most important position is missing. Typically, it was the most important position. They have nailed it.
Yeah.
But they can't compete at that level because they don't have the other pieces surrounding, and the defensive line and the playmakers and the offensive line and dynamism at the running back. Like, they just don't have that particular piece that's missing, and they can't get over that hump. But they have done all of that work, except for whether it is finding, identifying, or what I believe to be developing quarterbacks along the way. But the commitment to consistency, to go out there week in and week out and have zero threat of a passing game whatsoever, even with a guy with, God came down and blessed Zoller's right arm.
Yeah.
I mean, that guy's got arm talent, but looks like Bo Prabula.
Yeah. Same
playing
result.
the game, same result, same look. Here's my first read. Let me throw it. If not, panic sets in. And it has been 15 quarters had to look this up last night going on Sunday Sound Off because one of the questions there was, what's your takeaway from the Missouri Bowl game? And my takeaway was they just ended the season the way that they had played this season. But I didn't realize it was this bad. 15 quarters ago, Matt Zollers to Joshua Manning. Manning's not even on the team anymore. Against Mississippi State in the first quarter was the last passing touchdown for this Missouri team. They finished the season almost 4 full games without throwing a touchdown pass. They scored 7 against Oklahoma, 7 against Virginia, and 31 against Arkansas, 3 offensive touchdowns, and a Kevin Coleman punt return touchdown against Arkansas. But they didn't have a passing touchdown the last 3 quarters against Mississippi State, and none since then. That feels impossible when you have the weapons and wide receivers. Coleman was one of the biggest recruits in America out of St. Louis as a high school, and then as a transfer from Mississippi State. You've got Olugbeden, you've got Speedy, you've got, Norfleet.
You had guys, man.
You've got guys.
This team is so talented, and you're so right. The frustration for me is the what if, because this is one of the best defenses we have seen at Mizzou. You go back to when they first joined the SEC with all the litany of players, Shane Ray and
back when it was
Michael
like
Sam
D-line Zoo. I mean, D-line ZOU.
And this secondary felt really good, too, overall. Obviously, Trotter at linebacker reminded you a little bit of Nick Bolton. I mean, this team was
You had Zion, you had Harris. You had 2 bookends that are going to be either first-day or second-day picks.
You had guys defensively. And then offensively, you're right. You have Ahmad Hardy, who is one of the best, if not the best, running back in college football.
I'm glad he already signed his NIL deal to return.
Which, again, that decision that Drinkwitz pulled him off the field on 4th and 2, and you see a little anger, which I'm not shocked at that point.
I was pissed. We were all pissed on Ahmad Hardy's behalf.
And I don't understand that. And then you've even found Jamal Roberts, who's been a really good player as well. Maybe we need Eli to be the new run game coordinator for the Chiefs because it seems like that's where he thrives. And you're right. I thought Kevin Coleman's a great wide receiver. I thought Olugbeden, as a freshman, blossomed into a potential star. You have Speedy Johnson and Joshua Manning as your kind of tertiary guys. Norfleet is fine. He's been fine. Offensive
got a catch
line
radius out of this world. I mean,
it's just they missed a quarterback, and for me, this is the what if year of you should have beat Vandy, you should have beat Bama.
If you had a quarterback,
if you had a quarterback, you win those games.
Oklahoma, if you had a quarterback, I think you can win that game.
I mean, you competed with a team that made the college football playoffs and won a college football playoff game without a quarterback.
Yeah.
I mean, that
going up against a team that's going to have potentially a first-round quarterback, and Ty Simpson, who was completing ridiculous passes on 4th down in that game.
And by the way, Brett Brown threw a amazing Hail Mary to the end. I mean, that was as good as you could have asked for. Of course, Zollers had to go out with the potential concussion protocol.
Yeah. I mean, he's holding his head. He's laying down. There's a part of me that wonders that he got called for a intentional grounding in one of his last games when he was in the pocket and he was fading away, or maybe outside, and he just threw it well over the head of the receiver. That there was like, it was grounding. There was a guy in the area, but it was 30 feet below where you threw the football. There's a part of me that he threw the football and then sort of wanted to play up a little bit. That don't throw the flag of intentional grounding. I'm laying here. Ref's cool. Like, all right, cool. Let me get up. All right, we're good. No intentional grounding. Let me get up. But at that point, damage was done. Now, I have no idea if that was the case or not. I'm just saying there was a part of me that was like, I wonder if he remembers that intentional grounding, which would have ended the game because of the 10-second runoff and all of that stuff, was, no, don't throw the penalty. Okay, cool. We're good. I knew they were going to take him out of the game. Once the refs were talking, I'm like, well, this is going to be Brett Brown in the final play.
But a great throw, but Zollers cannot be plan A going into next year. He can be a option, but he cannot be plan A. And I think
he will be.
I like the potential of Zollers. I do. I think that the arm talent is there. But, again, this was more injury-related, but kind of like Sam Horn, where there's just no touch. Everything is just a rocket or nothing. There's no touch. There's no feathering the ball in there. The reads are always first read, getting just a rocket thrown at your gut. He had 45 yards into that final drive.
Yeah.
45 yards. And again, Virginia has a good defense. They're fine. They're a fine team, but you went down that first drive and made it look easy, and then they stopped running because Virginia goes, we're going to put 8 guys in the box.
Yeah.
We're going to put 8 dudes in here.
Until you prove that you can beat us with your passing game, we are going to sell out for the run.
And you have a decent offensive line, some good receivers, and you threw for 45 yards into that final drive.
Yeah.
That, to me, is you cannot go in with Zollers as your number one guy.
Or you can't go in with what you have as your offensive staff that has been coaching Zollers.
Also fair. And that
as
could be
your main part.
That could be the equation, too. Because, again, you're right. Yeah. You do see the arm talent is one that you see, and it is like, okay, that's different.
The reason I go with coaching more over like the player is that Bo Prabula to Matt Zollers looks the same in how they run the offense. It's first read, not there, let me panic a little bit, as opposed to when Matt Zollers first got in the game when Bo Prabula went down, there was a part of him, like he looked like he was comfortable in the pocket, looking around, finding an open receiver, like, okay, whoa, all right, they might be a little bit better at passing. And then that quickly went away, and then he turned into Bo Prabula without the running ability.
Yeah.
Yet they were still using him to run the ball, like on, third and shorts, and he was stopped short.
Well, it's not like you have 2 great running backs on your team.
Yeah, or another fourth down where somehow the quarterback keeps the ball in a bowl game. Barry Odom, Eli Drinkwitz shaking hands. Drew Lock, Matt Zollers.
I was at that game. I was pissed.
Yeah, yep. Both guys tackled short of the line to gain. But there's a commonality between Mizzou and the Chiefs, and that is this offseason, whatever it is going on offensively has to be addressed, looked in the mirror, and figured out what works, what doesn't work, and have that honest look in the mirror of what isn't working and how do you fix that, how do you change that? Because Eli Drinkwitz can change what's going on with his team by getting this hire right with the offensive coordinator, whoever he goes out and hires.
It's the guy from Michigan.
Yes.
Not Chip Kelly, but it's
Chipper Jones.
Chipper Jones. Chip Lindsey.
Chip Lindsey. Chipper Jones.
Oh, we knew there's a chip in there.
You have to get this right on the offensive side. This has to be someone that can come in and not just be what feels like the same offense over and over again from Kirby Moore. Washington State hires him away. Thank you, Washington State and Kellen Moore. So that Kirby is the one that, I'm sorry, but if it wasn't for Kellen Moore, I'm not sure that Kirby Moore gets the job because I'm not sure what he's done offensively to show that this guy is ready to be a head coach because his offense is so amazing. We're talking about what he's done with this offense. We'll take a timeout. We'll come back, continue rolling. I do have some thoughts on the stadium. We'll get into that. I mean, I don't know why nobody has talked about it. It's just really weird. But I do have some thoughts on the stadium, and it's not really even just stadium related. It is one of the things that I love and hate about the area. And we'll get into that. And the stadium is sort of the backdrop. The Chiefs, Kansas, Missouri, sort of the backdrop to all of this that I want to talk about a little bit. And then certainly we got a lot of Chiefs on the docket that we'll get into. Field Yates joins us at 11:30. We'll hear from Andy Reid later on in the show. Mick Schaefer, KSHB 41 Sports Director. Learn funniest best. More Zone next. Men out there, it is the new year, and if you are suffering from erectile dysfunction, then there's no need to wait around to figure out if something will eventually heal or get better on its own. A lot of people are making their resolutions. Well, you can resolve to get that resolved. Heartland Men's Health is here to help. Maybe you've tried the pills or the herbals and they have failed. Well, if that has happened, they have treatments that work when the pills or the herbals fail. In fact, they have treatments with success rates well over 90%. They have been successfully treating men in the Kansas City area. Simply schedule a consult with Heartland Men's Health today. Your initial visit, it's only $99. That includes a medical consult with a licensed medical provider, a T and PSA test, and if medically advised, you get a test dose. And if the test dose doesn't work in the office, your visit's free. If it does, there you go. They have an expert staff with 3 locations to serve you: Overland Park, Independence between Blue Springs and Lee Summit, and North Kansas City. Call them today at 844-447-6600. Tell them you heard about it right here on Sports Radio 810 WHB, 844-447-6600, or visit heartlandmenshealth.com. I've been gone for a while, so I completely forgot to send out the tweet previewing the show. And so I get to commercial break, and I'm like, oh, that's right, I didn't send that out. So then I, am doing that right now at Mixed Shape. What I'm letting people know is that in the first segment, we're going to talk Mizzou football. So just in case. So those that are getting this tweet right now, just so you know, coming up in the first segment at 10 o'clock, we are talking Mizzou football, okay? That's what we're going to do.
Did you miss us?
I missed you, yeah. A lot, actually.
I figured.
I was just sitting there at the in-laws, waking up and just giving out takes, just randomly to like my daughter. I'm like, and you know what? And another thing, Jules. Okay, like the fact that they actually tried to win this thing and they lost. I mean, that's embarrassing, right? Like, Daddy, can I please go play with my friends? My cousins are here, and you haven't let me out of the room in an hour.
No. Why is Juju getting 91 and then 81% of snaps? Can you believe that, Jules? Can you believe that?
Explain to me why that is, and then I'll let you go play with your cousins. Until then, you sit right here and you listen to what I have to say.
You sit down. Why is Jalen Royals getting no targets? You answer me. Go to Matt Nagy right now. Go to Nagy. Go to Reed. Go to the Andys, Andy and Matt, and say, hey, what's going on?
The Royals are playing? I thought it was the Chiefs. Enough. I mean, I can't. Honey, I can't deal with this. I can't deal with this. I'm sitting here talking the whole time, Caitlin, and she's not even listening. She's not even listening. She's playing her Nintendo. She's right now. She's playing her Nintendo. She's not even listening right now. I can't do it. I can't do this anymore. You know what? Go play with your cousins. I'm done with it. Done with it. And that was a Monday. And then we did that on Tuesday and then Wednesday and then Christmas morning. She was really annoyed that I would not let her go up and see what Santa brought until I got the takes off about what I expected in the game that day. 913-912-4810. Tweet sent. 913-912-4810. Okay, so indulge me a little bit on this because gone last week, and I know that people have talked a lot about this, right? That they have weighed in many, many different ways to Sunday about what it means, the bigger picture, the actual deal, all of that stuff. But I was asked last night on Sunday Sound Off, and, giving the 35, 40-second answer is not, typically one of the things that I like to do. It's tough. That's why I don't really think I could be on TV, plus the whole face thing. But the question was simple, did they get it right? Are they doing the right thing? And it's not a simple yes or no. It's a simple question, but an incredibly complicated answer. And to me, there are so many different elements that all have been discussed. I get it. But from my perspective, how torn I am on this whole thing. Because that's the honest truth. Like, this is not a slam dunk one way or another for me to feel a certain way, to be pissed off or to be pumped. Did they get it right? Well, for the owners, for the Clark Hunt family, for the Clarks, for the Hunt family, Clark Hunt, his, brothers and sisters, they get a ton more money and an easier path to get there with shiny new objects, streams of revenue added. They got it right for them. Yeah, if that's what you're specifically wondering. Did they get it right for the city? Is it the best thing for the city? I would say more than likely yes. Having a 30 to 60-year lease, depending on, those 5-year, extensions that they can do. The added events, the potential with the Super Bowl and college football playoffs and Final Fours and things like that. Yeah, I mean, and other events that are non-sports related, did they get it right for the health of the city moving forward? I think yes. I think they did. Did they get it right for the fans? I'm not sure. Probably not. For the fans at large. There's certainly there's a segment of the fans that feel like they got it right for them.
Sure.
So there's no discounting that.
People who hate the cold.
That's right. But I would also offer, if the Chiefs could do everything that they're getting in Kansas with the Super Bowl and the Final Four potential and the potential college football national championship, all of the stuff that they've talked about, added events, right? added revenue streams around the stadium, hotels, dining, non-athletic events, everything like that. But do it at Arrowhead? I think it would be a resounding yes. Oh, you can put a retractable roof on Arrowhead. You can open it up in the elements if you want to play in the snow. Hell yeah, let's do that. Or if it's negative 25, you probably want to close that thing. Oh, but what about the home field advantage? Which we'll get into, because I really have some thoughts on the home field advantage part of it. Because apparently to some people, the only reason the Chiefs beat the Dolphins is because it was cold. I happen to think they beat the Dolphins because they were the better team. But whatever. Everybody has their own opinion. Some people think that the Chiefs' playoff and Super Bowl run was based solely on the home field advantage of Arrowhead. I disagree with that. But we'll get into that here in just a little bit. For the fans, I'm not sure. Because while I am okay with the move to Kansas, and as the larger point for the city, there's no doubt something is going to be lost without Arrowhead. When the stadium is torn down, then tears will also come down from me with it. I mean, I was thinking about that last week. I'm like, they're moving to Kansas. It was not a surprise to me, which we'll get into. But then thinking, like, what's that day going to be like when the demolition happens? And there'll be TV cameras. It'll be live. People will be watching. And when that thing comes down, there will be tears that will come down from almost every Chiefs fan, even if you're excited about the move. There is that pull at the heartstrings of what that stadium has been. I always loved when people would pass through Kansas City or come to visit in Kansas City, and they would drive down I-70 to see the Truman Sports Complex. I thought that was one of the coolest things ever. And when I moved away and I would come back to visit, and then with kids coming back to visit and driving through, like, look, kids, there it is, Big Ben, Parliament. I would always point to that. And it was a real cool thing. That's not going to be there unless you're, driving up 435 or I-70 West and, find a way to, passing through Kansas City, specifically on the Kansas side. So that part of it, even if you're for the move, I don't think there's any getting around of that element of losing Arrowhead and ultimately losing Kaufman at some point. But what I won't get behind, and what really, really bothers me, to the point of just being, frankly, pissed off, is the insults and the victory laps, certainly from one side, the victory laps, but insults by both sides, back and forth, from one side to the other of the state line. Missouri fans, people on the Missouri side talking about, how awful Kansas is for stealing and this and that. Kansas fans having fun at Missouri residents' expense because the Chiefs are moving over to Kansas, having the LOLs and the ha-has, making fun of them. Because, quite frankly, I think that is petty at best and downright cruel at worst. Because that's what it is. If you're on the Kansas side and you're making fun of people in Missouri because the Chiefs are moving over there, there's a cruelty to it. Because what? There's some state line that was arbitrary drawn hundreds of years ago. That there's a road there that separates that. I mean, you're celebrating on behalf of billionaires getting billions more dollars. Is what you're doing.
But I guess for me, are you surprised?
No, I'm not surprised. Because it pisses me off.
You should know because Louisville and Indiana and then Kentucky and.
But I guess my issue is that it's a pride in something that's just arbitrary.
Sure.
It's a randomly drawn line 100 years ago that somehow creates like you feel like one side or the other, you've got a better life or some moral superiority over the other side because of where you happen to be born on what part of soil one side or the other of the state line you are. If the state line was drawn at Quivira, then those that are living, grew up on Antioch or Schweitzer or whatever, like you'd be the same person. Whether it was in Missouri or Kansas, you'd be the same person. It was just a different, arbitrarily drawn line.
And to your point, New York, both Jets and Giants, I think New York and Jersey have a little bit of a rivalry going on. Obviously, one's New York and one's the armpit of America. But there's still that rivalry going on up there, right? And the New York teams play in Jersey. Both of them do.
Yeah, but
the Rams and they play in Inglewood.
Yeah. It's always up to no good. Like I've lived in Lee Summit. I've lived in Independence. I've lived in Raytown. I've lived in Shawnee. I've lived in Lenexa. I lived in the Northland. I live downtown next to the Kansas City Star building, which is still there. Yes, which is still there.
I would love to be your realtor.
Yes. Thank you, KC Tenants. That Kansas City Star building is still there. Thank you, KC Tenants group. You guys won. Big celebration. Nice job. You saved Kaufman for 5 years, so well done. And now I live in Overland Park. And the one thing that I know is that everyone is the exact same everywhere that I have lived around the area. It's the same people with the same goals and same values, no matter what side of the state line you're on. It's the same people. You want to go to work. You want to get a good job. You want to take care of your family. You want to have enough money to be happy or to have some sort of freedom financially. It's the same, no matter what side of the state line that you're on. The one thing that is, whether you're on one side or the other state line, is the civic pride that's there.
Yeah.
It is as prideful of a city that is out there. If you grew up here and stayed, which there's a lot of people that grew up here, love the area, stayed. If you moved away and then moved back. If you moved away but never left. And some that may have moved here as transplants and then found this hidden gem in the country and fell in love with it and never moved and decided that the rest of their life, a lot of professional athletes play in Kansas City, whether the Royals or the Chiefs, and they end up spending the rest of their life here. And we are all incredibly prideful. And the old saying, find you somebody that loves you as much as people from Kansas City love wearing Kansas City stuff outside of Kansas City. Because there is that pride, and the Chiefs and the Royals are part of that pride. The stupid memes and things like that are going around is one thing that I hate about it. And I talked about it at the time, that it was pissing me off when it was the pitting one side against the other, because it goes back to the then hatred of the state line. And when you're going Kansas versus Missouri to get a better deal, you're just trying to get billions of dollars more based on people that are not from here, only live here for work, but are using that ingrained hatred and history to their benefit.
Everyone does, though.
I agree with that.
Sports, politics, all of it.
But it has always bothered me, and it will always continue to bother me. And that's what the Chiefs have done. But the memes that bother me, too, of like, you know, I saw that the new logo for the Chiefs, and it just took the C off, and it put the K. I'm like, the logo wasn't KCM, you dumbass.
Yeah.
They're still playing in Kansas City. It's just Kansas City, Kansas, instead of Kansas City, Missouri. The logo was not KCM, and now you can just keep it K.
I did see that one, too, and that one did make me mad. 'Cause I'm like, it's legitimately still Kansas City.
Yes.
It's not like the Piper Chiefs.
Right.
They're not the Overland Park Chiefs.
They're not. They didn't move to, Olathe.
The Topeka Chiefs. No, it's still the...
Well, the practice facilities are in Olathe. Okay, cool. Where are they playing their football? It's in Kansas City. It's just Kansas. So things like that are dumb. But I knew what to expect with this whole thing, because I knew that would happen. Doesn't mean it's not going to bother me. I knew that was going to happen. And from the beginning of this thing, like for me on the air, my job is to try to be compelling, to try to come up with something that you want to listen to. Hopefully that's what happens. But also, I think our job is to read the tea leaves to see where things are going. What does this draft pick mean? What does this move by the Royals mean? What does this mean? What does that mean? What is this plan that is presented to the voters for the stadiums? What does this mean? And what happens with a yes or no? And I said going into the vote, people can go back and listen if they want to. I don't even know if the podcasts are still up. But I said going into the vote, and I said coming out of the vote, that if the vote was no, the Chiefs were moving to Kansas. This was the only... You are not saving Kaufman, because the victory lap that took place that night with the KC Tenants and other people have saved Kaufman. We saved Kaufman. No, you didn't save Kaufman. All you did was save 5 more years of them playing at Kaufman. They are not going... The only team that had potential of staying there was the Chiefs.
I did that show that night, and I remember that was what I had so many people, and I had to keep reiterating, this is not you saving Kaufman. They are moving no matter what. You voting no does not save Kaufman,
No.
but so many people felt that in that moment. Because I remember doing the show that night.
I didn't get it.
Yeah.
I didn't understand it. And it's like you're not saving Kaufman because you're not understanding what's going on. You're being lied to by those that are presenting that marketing side of it. And there's a lot of lying that goes on in politics and voting and everything. So this is not a one side lied and the other side was telling the total truth. But what they were saying is Mark Donovan saying, well, if it's a vote no, then we will open up options of where we can look to, which could be outside of the state. And then people said, well, they're not moving to Nashville. They're not moving to San Antonio. The Royals, Nashville. But they're not moving to San Antonio, the Chiefs. It's not happening. And then I heard we won't be held hostage. We're not going to be given some ultimatum. So we're voting no on principle alone. It's like, you weren't given an ultimatum. You weren't voting no on principle alone. Because if the Chiefs said, we have a deal in place right now in San Antonio to sign to move there. If the vote is no, we are leaving. It would be a resounding yes. So that's a real ultimatum, okay? You are voting no because you didn't think you would actually lose either team, and you're not going to. The area is going to keep them. But I said at the time, and I said coming out of that, they are moving to Kansas. It's going to be an easier deal. It's going to be an easier path to it. They're going to get a brand new stadium. They're going to get all of these things. And I don't think they tanked the vote, the Chiefs. But what I do think they did, and I said this at the time, and I'll continue to say it, is they presented a plan that was not inspiring because it was a 20-year plan. That's what people are missing about the Arrowhead part of it. If they renovate Arrowhead, it ain't going to be for 60 years.
Correct.
It's going to be for 20 more years, and in 2045, we're going to be doing the same thing, except they are going to be moving.
And by the way, at that point, it's no longer Clark Hunt. It's now their kids.
Yeah. Which then might be like, well, let's go wherever else. Let's make our billion. Let's put our stamp on this. Whatever it might be, I don't know. But right now, they decided to put this plan together instead of the one that was presented, which was uninspiring. We joked about it.
Yeah.
It's like, no, there's going to be better tailgating. The tailgating's pretty badass already.
There's a bridge and an activation
Yes,
zone.
they're going to activate more tailgating. But again, I think that was presented that way because that was a 20-year plan. Why are we going to put all of this into something that we're going to have to move from in 20 years anyway?
Yeah.
So Arrowhead renovating is only for another 20 years. That's really what it is. Or you this is an element of ripping the Band-Aid off and now building new and going over to the Kansas side. Is it a great deal for the residents? It's a great deal for the Hunt family.
Yeah.
They got $2 billion, almost $2 billion of a stadium financed for them.
But again, I will always point out, is it fair? Should billionaires pay for their own stadium? Sure.
Yeah.
But is that the reality that we live in?
Yeah. Should big companies come into our town and pay full property tax? Hell yes. Do they have to? Hell no.
It's just,
Denver their owner ended up paying for the stadium in full, but they're also going to own it. The
They're gonna
state's
own
still
the
going to
stadium.
own
correct.
Arrowhead.
Yes.
And this is where I have the frustration of, I think people, the philosophy versus the reality.
Yeah.
If you lose, because so many other states and cities would pay for the Chiefs to come there and give them this exact same deal.
They'd give them a better deal.
And
than what they're
so
getting here.
that's the reality of it. And unless you want Kansas City to become Omaha, I like Omaha. This is not a knock on Omaha. I really liked fun city. But you're telling me that's what Kansas City would become without the sports teams. This is the pro sports tax.
Yeah.
This is what you pay. You have to do if you want to keep professional sports in your city. You want to bring them here. You're gonna have to give them a great deal. That is the reality of the world that we live in.
Yeah, first and foremost, the Chiefs are staying in the area. That's the main thing there. But this was not a surprise to me. I've been steadfast the last almost 2 years now that they're moving to Kansas. When people have talked about now they're going to stay at Arrowhead and renovate, I'm like, oh, we'll see. I'd be surprised, but we'll see if they do that because it just the entire time made too much sense. And people that would say, well, Lamar Hunt said that was favorite place on earth, happiest place on earth, whatever it is. He loved Dallas more than he loved Arrowhead, and he moved from Dallas for a better deal. Lamar Hunt would make the same deal that Clark Hunt just made. Make no mistake about that, okay? People that Lamar must be rolling over in his grave right now. Lamar Hunt's probably going, nice job, Clark.
Yeah.
It's a great deal.
Good deal.
Exactly what I taught you.
It's $2 billion, man. A hell of a deal. Shrewd move, man. Well done. It's business. It's going to be a business. And they're staying in the area, thankfully, for the next 30 to 60 years or however long. But please, and I know it's not going to happen, but can we stop with the back and forth? People in Missouri are hurt by them moving to Kansas. People in Kansas are taking victory laps for some reason, as if you had anything to do with it. You're taking a victory lap as to billionaires getting $2 billion. That's all it is you are celebrating and rubbing another state's nose in it on behalf of giving billions of dollars to billionaires already. It's an odd victory lap for the working class. We'll take a timeout. We'll come back. More Zone next.
Speaking of working class, I've been putting in work on FanDuel. Okay? Because Missouri FanDuel Sportsbook is live in the Show Me state. They're kicking things off with just an incredible offer. Because right now, new customers can bet $5 and get $300 in bonus bets, win or lose. So whether it's football, basketball, hockey, or more, you can bet it all on an app that's safe, secure, and super easy to use. I've been having a lot of fun with NBA. Yesterday, it was very, very lucrative for me. Last night, that Sunday Night Football game, great game, by the way. Luther Burden just ripped his over. He's been on an absolute heater, and he was on a heater yet again last night. So, LB3, thank you for helping me on FanDuel. So, all you need to do to have some fun, put some little bumps in your chest, download FanDuel today or head to FanDuel.com/Missouri to join in on all the excitement. Because Missouri, it's time to play your game with FanDuel.
21 plus and present in Missouri. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. First online real money wager only. $5 first deposit required. Bonus issued as non-withdrawable bonus bets that expire 7 days after receipt. Restrictions apply. See terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com.
All right, wrapping up the first hour here. We will talk with Field Yates coming up at 11:30. Get his thoughts on the NFL, our NFL insider from ESPN. Chiefs currently with a top 10 pick in the NFL draft. We'll see if they hold on to that top 10 pick or not. See which other teams around them will win or hopefully win. They will lose.
Tank off, baby. Them and the Raiders. Just lose, baby. Just lose, baby.
I've never rooted harder for the Raiders in my life.
Ew, no, can't do it.
I know it's really hard. It's
can't do it.
On Christmas Day, I'm sitting there going, I want the Broncos to win. But at the same time, I'm like, God, I want to beat the Broncos.
Yeah,
you
man. Still are like, beat the Donkeys.
It is
win somehow.
It is so difficult to know what the bigger, better result would be while having to live through it. I will continue right here on Sports Radio 810 WHB. Jason Anderson with you, Sterling Holmes, Michael Darcy heading up until 2 o'clock. We'll hear from Field Yates coming up at the end of this hour. And one of the things we'll talk about is the postseason implications of the misfire of Josh Allen yesterday afternoon, early evening, to what was a wide-open receiver going for 2 in what resulted in a 1-point loss. And one that Bills fans certainly, but probably specifically Josh Allen, will have nightmares about for a while. If they don't make a long run in the playoffs or go to the Super Bowl, this could be one that has long-lasting implications for that. Because if he completes the pass, they're the 5 seed, which means all they would have to do is beat the Jets this weekend, and they would be heading to the winner of Pittsburgh and Baltimore. They would be facing off against the 4 seed. They would be the 5, which means if they were to win, they wouldn't then have to go to the 1 seed, which has the bye and is resting and ready to go at home in a divisional round game, which in theory could be the New England Patriots.
Yeah.
If New England wins this weekend against Miami at home, which they should, and if the Chargers were to go to Denver and win, which they certainly can, I don't think that's going to happen. I think the Broncos are going to win and get the number 1 seed, but stranger things have occurred. Then Buffalo would go from playing at Pittsburgh. Let's just say that's how it transpires. Let's say Denver loses to the Chargers and the other teams win the way that they're supposed to win. New England takes care of business against Miami. The Houston Texans take care of business who they're supposed to take care of business. Jacksonville then beats the Titans at home and wins the South. Then Buffalo, by virtue of missing that open receiver for Josh Allen, their path would then go from at Pittsburgh to then at Jacksonville to then the AFC Championship game, versus if Houston and the Chargers win, they would be going to Denver week 1 and then to New England in the divisional round, and then face off against whatever winner at that point.
Yeah,
they would be going through the number 1 and 2 seeds by missing that pass. The playoff implications are massive for one. Now, it's not one, Sterling, as we know. It's the whole season.
Yeah, I mean, you scored 12 points in the
But
the game.
it can come down to one play that happened, open receiver, wide open receiver, and all you had to do was just lob it up there, and you win that game, and you're a win against the Jets away from being in a pretty decent shape to go through the playoffs.
And there's no more pressure on any team than the Bills.
Yep.
And maybe it's Sean McDermott more than anyone else. That's where the pressure really lies. But it's the Bills. There's more than likely no Lamar, no Joe Burrow, no Patrick Mahomes. I mean, we've talked about it, but this is the Bills' year. Because if you don't get it done this year, I talked to Field Yates last week about it. I asked him, I go, fair or not, does McDermott get fired if they don't at least make the Super Bowl? I think there's a distinct possibility. It's almost like Ryan Day when he was at Ohio State, when it was like, hey, eventually you have to win the big one or else we need to find someone who can.
I wonder if this is a year where, let's say last year is this year, and Sean McDermott does not make a run, and they lose, let's say, in the wild card round.
Sure.
They lose that game to the Eagles and then lose in the first round against Denver or New England, whoever. Because even if the Denver Broncos win against the Chargers, the Buffalo Bills wild card game will be in New England against the Patriots. Yeah. Instead of going to Pittsburgh or Baltimore, they're heading to New England.
Third time around,
yes.
Yeah.
I mean, the third time this year they'll be facing off against the Patriots. Let's say it's a different year. Let's say it's last year. And then at that point, you'd say, okay, let's move on from Sean McDermott. Let's go get Ben Johnson.
Yeah.
Who's that guy this year? Like, because there's not an obvious candidate of, like, Ben Johnson is that dude. And whoever gets Ben Johnson is going to turn their team around.
Matt Nagy, baby.
Go get him. They've got Kafka. Go get Nagy. Let's go. Or, excuse me, Kafka's with the Giants. But they could have Kafka. I don't know. But let's go get – it's a New York team. Come on. Stay with me or don't. But the Bears went and got Ben Johnson. And now, look, the Bears are winning their division.
Yeah.
Like, Ben Johnson has lived up to what people thought he would be as a head coach and an offensive mind. If this was last year and then they lose early and say, we're moving on from Sean McDermott, that would be easy. Ben Johnson, you get to coach Josh Allen
That'd be
and
awesome.
the Buffalo Bills.
Yeah.
Wouldn't be awesome for the Chiefs, but for him, it'd be awesome.
It's fun to watch.
Yeah. There's not that guy this year. That's just that obvious candidate that's going to be the next great thing, which could lead them to holding on to Sean McDermott for another year until they find an obvious candidate that, well, you just got to move on from. Like the Baltimore Ravens fans wanted them to move on from Harbaugh to hire Mike Macdonald, their defensive coordinator.
Yeah.
And they didn't. And Mike Macdonald went to Seattle. And Ravens fans are still pissed off about it because they're saying we could have Macdonald and not what we continue to go through with Harbaugh now. Look what he's doing in Seattle. He's got the number 1 seed. That was the guy, and we decided to stay with what was there. And a huge, obvious candidate of like this next great head coach was right under your nose, and you let him get away because you wanted to stay with what was familiar and comfortable.
I wonder if Brian Daboll would come back at any point. Obviously, he had a connection with Josh, and it felt like there was a nice little
as like the
something.
OC there.
Yeah, and then he went to the Giants and got canned because he was bad, but he was good with Josh. But that's maybe because Josh made him look good. Yeah, that this is one where the Bills have that pressure, and I think if you look in the NFC, 49ers might be that team. I know that expectations were a little lower after last year. I know that they've had a plethora of injuries, but no Lions. Lions collapsed. The Eagles have taken a massive step back this year. You look in the NFC South, Buccaneers versus Panthers.
Yeah.
That looks to be a debacle. I mean, I think if you're the Niners, in your Shanahan, this. Two teams with pressure on them,
Yeah.
Bills and Niners, because the Niners, there's no Chiefs to face in the AFC, in the Super Bowl to lose twice to. Yeah, you've had injuries, but you're 12-4, and Brock Purdy after last night's game, and that game last night was just incredible. What a fun one.
We got a scoregami in the middle of the game. Did you see that?
Yeah.
That was amazing.
And I guess for me, that might be, if I had to have two teams, one from each division, each conference, Bills and Niners might be the two teams I'm looking at of they need to get it done and at least make a Super Bowl this year, or there's going to be some, will they ever win the big one?
Well, I do wonder if the Buffalo Bills will look internally and say, are we on the verge of making the mistake that maybe Ravens fans feel like they've made?
Sure.
With letting Mike Macdonald walk and staying with what's comfortable. If Joe Brady is viewed as he's going to be the main coaching candidate out there to take over and he's ready, do the Bills go, well, why would we let this guy get away who's familiar with Josh Allen? Why not just move on from McDermott and elevate somebody that other teams are trying to hire from us? Other teams clearly see something in him. He's right here already. Other teams wanted Mike Macdonald, and the Seattle Seahawks made the move and hired him. He's right under our nose. Other teams want him. Why? Well, we're not going to move on from Harbaugh because, John Harbaugh, he's one of the best coaches in the league. We're not going to do that. That's dumb. Well, Sean McDermott ain't that. He doesn't have a Super Bowl victory. He doesn't have a Super Bowl appearance. And he's got some rough losses in the playoffs to the Chiefs.
Yeah.
That's, difficult. But this is to your point. If they lose in the playoffs, it won't be to Patrick Mahomes and the Chiefs. It's not going to be that's explainable. You're talking about one of the greatest, if not when his career is over, the greatest quarterback that ever lived. And he can't beat him in the playoffs? Well, yeah, you're also talking about one of the few quarterbacks that elevates his game to an unbelievable level in the playoffs as opposed to the regular season. Who plays better and puts up better numbers against the best competition when it matters and it's a one-chance thing to win that game? Not many people do. Mahomes does. And he does put together some pretty stupid numbers against the Bills.
Yeah.
Sean McDermott's, and Josh
Allen numbers too. But.
Yeah, he does. But it's like Mahomes will elevate his game and the people around him. Again, like I said, people have viewed the Chiefs losing in the Super Bowl as some sort of a knock on Patrick Mahomes, as if his career would be better if he didn't play one of his best games in the playoffs of his career against the Bills in the AFC Championship game.
Yeah.
His career somehow in the eyes of some is better if he were to just played average football and they lost to the Bills.
It's the Jordan argument of 6-0 versus not making...
Versus 10 straight for LeBron, and it's like, well, he took him there. Yeah, but he lost when he got there. Okay, but he's the reason sort of they went there.
Yeah.
Mahomes playing at that level is the reason the Chiefs beat the Bills. The Bills were the better overall team. And Mahomes played at a ridiculous level. Now, some plays were made along the way.
Sure.
Chiefs defense stepped up along the way. They were phenomenal against the Josh Allen QB sneaks in that game. They knew what to expect. They made stops, controversially or not. They made stops when they had to. But Mahomes was damn near perfect in terms of running the offense, manipulating the pocket, not leaving early, leaving when nobody was open, creating plays there. Like the numbers wouldn't look at it and go, wow, this is the best game numerically that he's ever put together in the playoffs. Now, there are other games where he put together better numbers, but I'm talking about the game play.
Yeah.
When you go back and we watched the All-22 after the game was over, because we had a couple of weeks to be able to do that, right? And so we watched the All-22, and it's like, there's nobody open here. And yet Mahomes did this, and that created the opening. Oh, my God, that guy was open for a second, and Mahomes threw it and hit him right between the numbers. Like, he was phenomenal in that game. If he wasn't, the Bills win, and they go to the Super Bowl, and maybe they beat the Eagles. I doubt it. Deion Dawkins thinks they do. Although, no, he thinks they would have put together a better show. They would have been more competitive, which is odd. He didn't say they would win. They would have just been more competitive. That's fine. But there is no boogeyman to keep McDermott from holding the Lamar Hunt trophy. And if you're the Bills, do you then make the decision and say, we're not going to let Joe Brady get away.
Yeah.
We're going to keep this guy. If other teams want him, we're moving on. But he is not the Ben Johnson. He might be the Ben Johnson of this year, but he's not the Ben Johnson of Ben Johnson. That was last year, and that was that guy, and look what he's done with the Bears.
I just go back to Ryan Day with Ohio State of if you don't win. That was basically the ultimatum for Ryan Day was you win a championship or you're gone. And he won, and now Ryan Day is lauded and applauded and all the stuff he's done at Ohio State. And again, was it fair? Yeah, probably not. I mean, he's a great head coach, and he's one of the top 10 head coaches in college football, maybe top 5, right? Clearly. Mm-hmm. I don't think Sean McDermott is that, but that's almost what it feels like for me is, hey, if you don't win or at least get there, fair or not, that's what you have to work with. And Sean McDermott probably knows that heading into the playoffs. Hey, if I don't make a Super Bowl, I'm gone.
I think he should probably approach it that way.
I think you have to. And I think that's why you saw him go for 2. I think you saw the aggressiveness of saying, hey, I'm coaching for my job. Which
I think was the right move, even if he was coaching for his job or not.
I think so, too.
Am I going to rely on this guy to miss another extra point? And even if he makes the extra point, I got to go into overtime and have him, whether or not he's going to make a field goal or an extra point. Although, if they were down 14-0, and they went back-to-back and scored touchdowns to make it 14-14, then and instead of going for 2, right, or whatever it might have been.
You're feeling your offense is looking pretty good compared to the Eagles.
At that point, I would have been fine going for the extra point if it was 14-13 with the extra point there and he had just made an extra point because you were dominant. But I can't rely on this guy to get a blocked kick or miss it. No, I'm going for it right here. And by the way, I like the decision, and the play call was wide open.
Yeah,
they did it. They got it. And you got to rely on the MVP to make an easy throw that he just so open. Like I got to be oh no.
But this is the point I've gone back to a lot, and I know Petra made fun of me a little bit for my on Wednesday, or I think it was Wednesday. The theme of the day was scheme. And how I keep saying the Chiefs scheme is 2022. It's
You're
outdated.
scheming through the whole show.
It's antiquated. And
you are a scheming mofo, dude.
I've talked about it a lot, and I continue to harp on this because I think I firmly believe this, that I think the scheme of the Chiefs
scheming Sterling
is antiquated and outdated. And you look at Ben Johnson and the Bears. I mean, what was Caleb Williams doing prior to Ben Johnson in that offensive scheme? Yeah. Now, again, weapons matter. Luther Burden has blossomed into a star, and DJ Moore is still there, and you know, they've invested a lot in the O-line.
Loveland looks like a young
good,
Kelsey as of late. God.
But again, my point is, it's Patrick. That's Caleb Williams. Everyone's taking Patrick, and the Bears are 11-5 and putting up 38 points. Look at Shanahan and the 49ers. Yeah, they have McCaffrey, but look at the plethora of injuries they've sustained. Juwan Jennings is their wide receiver 1. Demarcus Robinson looks good. It's because their scheme is what it is. Now, again, I get the Chiefs have won rings. These two teams have not in recent years, but just look at the offensive differences. Look how easy it is for random guys to make an impact on the Niners and the Bears. It looks like pulling teeth in Kansas City. Look at what Kyle Monangai is doing, a 7th-round rookie running back.
He was drafted after Brashard Smith.
Yes, he sure was. I mean, you just look around. Look at even the Seahawks with McDonald, and look at what JS, and they have one wide receiver. I mean, they have one guy. One guy in A.J. Barner. Jake Bobo was making impacts. Cooper Kupp's done hardly anything this year. Yeah, they have Kenneth Walker and Zach Charbonnet, but it's Sam Darnold. They're 13-3, and their offense looks good.
They're fine. I mean, it's like
yes, they're
it's
not
like yes, they've got McCaffrey. No, they've got Kenneth Walker and Zach Charbonnet.
And so this is a little bit
although both would be better than any running back the Chiefs have. But go ahead.
This is just the point I've made for a while. I think scheme has mattered so much more. I think the Chiefs have the players. I do. I believe they have the pieces. I just think they need to adapt and adjust. And so I go back to it. I know I keep doing these one-off games, but I think scheme matters dramatically. And this, of any year, shows that Andy Reid, Nagy, they need to get in the laboratory and fix things and change things. Because you look around, Brock Purdy is Mr. Irrelevant. Caleb Williams, he's the number 1 overall draft pick, but look what he was doing prior to Ben Johnson. Scheme matters.
Yeah, it does. And, having the players matters as well. We can certainly get into this week and whatever happens in the Raiders game and coming out of that when it is officially the off season at 6:45 on Sunday. And the Chiefs season is over and, 1-2-3 Cancun at the end of that game. And what they're going to do in the off season with whether it's going to be Oladokin or they're going to go find a different quarterback, whatever this weekend might be. I mean, we'll get into all of those things and players and mainly, to me, coaching and development, because if Xavier Worthy doesn't know where the sideline is, at what point is that Xavier Worthy's fault, and at what point is that the coach's fault? I mean, I think it's debatable. I think it's debatable. Like, at some point, it's like, well, the player just has to know what the hell they're doing. But why are those details just being, I don't want to say accepted, but I'll say accepted because he's still playing.
Remember
he's still
last
playing
year?
Every game. He's still doing the same things.
Xavier Worthy on the deep ball. That was
he had no idea where the sideline was.
Yeah.
How many different times he stepped out of bounds, had no idea where the sideline was. Okay, well then he needs to figure out some way to coach him to where the sideline is in his awareness. You drop a ball, and then that's not a drop. You just have your right foot so far out of bounds.
It wasn't close. It was.
Like it was so. Andy Reid knew it too, right? When he saw it, and he starts running, Andy Reid just looked down like this dude just did that. But it's like there's accountability. Is there? Because there was never accountability for Jawan Taylor. Some of it was you didn't have a choice. This year you did have a choice. And then there still was no accountability for Jawan Taylor. There's accountability for some, but not accountability for all. There's accountability for Noah Williams. He had a bad game. Bench his ass. Shamari Connor is picked on more than a small child in second grade. And yet, no accountability there. He's still out there playing 100% of the snaps.
Well,
every offensive mind. Bo Nix walks up to the line of scrimmage and says, "Where's 27?"
I push back. Shamari Connor is a good player in the right role. They put him in a spot that he's not good at. It's not his fault. It's coaching.
Okay,
fault.
So accountability for the coaching.
That's sort of the point. My pushback.
Right, but that's sort of the point of accountability. They're putting him in a position where he's not succeeding. So what's Andy Reid doing? Going, well, that's Steve Spagnuolo. That's his job, is to put those guys in position to go and do that. And Shamari Connor, he's going to figure it out. Really? Well, is Dan Sorensen going to figure it out? Because eventually he had to go, all right, we can't play Dan Sorensen anymore. We got to play Juan Thornhill. Because Juan Thornhill was better. All year he was better his rookie year. But it took until week 12 or 13 before they finally made the move? And Shamari Connor is not good in coverage. He's not good. People can talk about Nick Bolton all they want, and he's got his obvious struggles. But right now, if you're Kenny Pickett will get to the line of scrimmage on Sunday and go, where's 27 and 32? Those are my first two guys I'm going after. And if they aren't open, then I'll run or do something else. But odds are one of those guys is going to be open in their area. I'm going to find 27 and 32. And why? Because these dumbasses keep putting him in the same position over and over again to get burned. So there's no accountability for that. But Noah Williams has a couple of bad games or one bad game against the Bills and a couple of blown assignments, and his ass finds the bench.
You want to play a fun game?
I like fun games.
I did this with Matt Verderam, and it was very fun.
Do we have time to play it now or after field?
Yeah, it takes 30 seconds tops.
Oh, I like 30-second games.
30 seconds is a long time.
To you.
How many penalties does Jawan Taylor have in his 3 years in Kansas City?
Yes. I'm going to say 39.
I'm going to guess 48.
So Verderam tried making a outlandish. He was like, Jawan Taylor's 40 penalties in 3 years, nothing's changed. He has 56.
Yeah,
and by the way, in 13 games this year too. So
I had 39. I thought might have been just a little
50.
bit aggressive.
Yeah, Verderame, he's like, yeah, I mean, 40 penalties for Jawan Taylor, nothing's changed. And then he was trying to be like hyperbolic, and I looked it up, 24 and 23, 19 last year, and then 13 this
Get
year.
better. That's coaching.
56 penalties.
Yeah, well.
And again, only 13 games this year. He may have reached the 60 mark.
Yeah.
Total in his tenure.
But is Shamari Connor a good player? I agree with you. He is in the right role. Is Xavier Worthy a good player? Damn, he better be. He's a first-round draft pick.
We saw
in
him
the right
look good
role
last year.
But why is somebody who's played football that long in their life still having a misunderstanding of where the sideline is?
Yeah.
Is that coaching or is that the player?
I do think scheme, going back to scheme, when does he look good? Those intermediate routes. Yeah. Right? Does he not look good when he actually runs these intermediate routes?
I think so, yeah.
Then why is he not running more of those?
Because he's a gadget player. And they like archetypes of gadget players. That's how they view him. They view Shamari Connor somehow.
That way.
Right. They view Shamari Connor somehow as a slot corner. And they view Xavier Worthy as a gadget player.
They view him as McCole Hardman when in reality he's more of the old school Hollywood Brown.
And before Christmas Day, Christian Fulton was just unplayable.
Yeah. And then you go out there without Jalen Watson and Trent McDuffie. And you've seen what they've done the last couple of weeks with Fulton and Noel Williams. And it's like, what were we watching earlier? So why did McDuffie have to play on the outside and you had to play Shamari Connor in the slot because Noel Williams and Christian Fulton couldn't play on the outside?
And Fulton couldn't even be activated.
So what you're saying is you could have had maybe the best slot corner in the league playing slot corner, and Shamari Connor, a guy who should be more of like a rover and playing like a dime linebacker or different things, you had him in the slot where he is awful because you didn't think Noel Williams or Christian Fulton could play on the outside opposite Jalen Watson, and now they're both out there playing on the outside against the Denver Broncos? Somebody got some explaining to do.
And they've still given up, the third fewest points in the AFC.
There's some real questions going into the offseason about the personnel that they decided to draft and sign, and then why aren't those guys playing, and why are you going with other certain personnel in that spot? Shamari Connor should not be a slot cornerback ever. He shouldn't be. Well, they're playing. They got a lot of guys out. CRW's out. You got McDuffie. But even when those guys were healthy, you still decided to put that man in the slot. And Kenny Pickett is going to be at the line of scrimmage and going, where's 27? There he is. Let me figure out what I can do against 27 here. Which tells me, if you're getting this from Christian Fulton and Noel Williams, then do you have to go into this offseason and say, you got to sign Trent McDuffie, man. You got to sign him to a massive deal, Trent McDuffie, to this huge long-term deal because you can't get by without him? Or can you get a first-rounder or the equivalent of a first-rounder for Trent McDuffie, like a second and a third or something like that? And now you might have the number 8 pick, the number 40 pick, the number 50 pick, and then 2 third-rounders for McDuffie where you can really revamp what your offense-defense looks like with all of those picks, picking higher in the draft, and signing Jalen Watson and keeping Christian Fulton on the contract he's on and Noel Williams and going that route. We'll see. We'll take a timeout. We'll talk with Field Yates coming up next.
He'll help you fantasy focus while he scoops the news. He's on TV more often than he's in bed. He'll break down the NFL without a single hair ever out of place. It's Field Yates of ESPN. Now in the zone with Jason Anderson on Sports Radio 810 WHB.
I will continue right here on Sports Radio 810 WHB. Jason Anderson with you. Sterling Holmes, Michael Darcy heading up until 2 o'clock. We'll hear from Andy Reid about an hour from now. His final press conference, Monday Zoom press conference, previewing an opponent coming up this weekend of the season. First time in a long time that it will be in December. Joining us now, Field Yates from ESPN, our NFL insider here in the zone. Field, what is up, sir? How are you?
Jason, I'm doing well. How are you, my friend? Hope you had a great holiday.
Yes, we did. How was your holiday?
It was good. You know, I've got young children.
Yep.
So this is a big week in the Yates household. They're all fired up. My kids, basically, if you put a Barbie doll in front of them, you're generally living good. They were living good over the past week or so.
100%. Yes, it's always the best. Waking up on Christmas morning and them finding out what they got. It's really, really cool. So, yes, it was a good week for us. Whether or not it was a good week for the Chiefs doesn't really matter. I think it was a good week for the Chiefs because they played well against the Broncos and lost. Kind of the best of both worlds. Yep. If you're looking at what the best case scenario is moving forward. There's a lot to talk about and break down with the Chiefs as this season will be over on Sunday. But I wanted to talk to you about some of the things going on around the NFL and really, what we saw yesterday afternoon in that game with the Eagles and Bills. I do wonder, Field, when this, these games are played this weekend and they're over, what the postseason implications can be with Josh Allen missing a receiver that wide open for the Bills, that they might they've gone from the 5 to maybe the 7 if things fall the way that if things fall the way they could, depending on the Chargers. But that's just a massively different run through the playoffs by missing an open guy. Just nightmare fuel for some in Buffalo.
Yeah, and you're going to have to win. Now, there's a chance that the Bills won yesterday, and they still would have had to go on the road for every playoff game because the Patriots would have, if they win next weekend, the Patriots would have been 14-3 and the AFC champions either way. That being said, it's kind of emblematic of a year that feels a little different for Buffalo going into the playoffs than it has. I'm not saying the Bills. I always love when people talk about NFL teams and being under-discussed. It's like, it's the NFL. We talk about the NFL 363 days a year, it feels like. No team is under-discussed, but Buffalo is going into the playoffs with a little bit less acclaim compared to where they have been in recent seasons. The team that felt like likely the biggest threat to the Chiefs in the playoffs. In Buffalo, I think the biggest thing is we can talk about the defense, which has had definitely its vulnerable moments this year. We can talk about the lack of top-end wide receivers. That's been a big thing in Buffalo now for a few years. But Josh Allen looked hurt to me yesterday. I felt like he was really compromised. Some of the vintage scrambles that we see from Josh on a nearly weekly basis just weren't there. Now, Philadelphia's pass rush is great, so maybe that was part of the reason why Josh was a little bit more mundane yesterday. But it does feel like this foot thing that's been bothering him for quite some time now really reared itself yesterday. And that's not going to be easy for Buffalo to overcome if it is a limitation for Josh, because at some point that pass, and it may not necessarily be in round one, but you think about some of the defenses and how they're swarming right now in the AFC, whether it's Denver, whether it's Houston, those are two of the probably 3 or 4 best pass rushers in the entire NFL. So Buffalo's got to find a way to win with Josh, maybe in a slightly different way than we have seen them win with Josh in late December and January.
Do you think they can?
I have some questions there. The AFC is so wide open, that it's hard to say that, if you gave me like one team, regardless of who that one team is versus the field, I would take the field no matter what.
Yeah.
Sure. I do think Buffalo can win. I also think there is a lot of pressure on Buffalo, not just because of all the success they have had, but coming up short, but all the success they've had with the most notable foes during that stretch, potentially being 0-3 in terms of making the playoffs, that being the Chiefs, the Bengals, who will not make the playoffs, and then maybe the Ravens as well. Who knows what's going to happen on Sunday night between the Steelers and the Ravens, but if you have no Patrick, no Joe, and no Lamar, and Josh Allen goes into the playoffs as pretty clearly the most established quarterback in that group. I would put Aaron Rodgers in a different category at the age of 42. But Josh Allen will be, I think in most people's eyes, the guy who on all other Sundays you would trust him the most. This is the year for him, but that doesn't mean they're going to make it to the Super Bowl. And if they don't, then at some point in Buffalo there is the conversation around some of the power players involved and how long do you continue to kind of forge your path with those leaders if you've had way too much close but not good enough.
Yeah, I know you talked last week with Sterling about Sean McDermott and whether or not, not making the Super Bowl would mean the end for him. I do wonder, too, I brought this up earlier today with, knowing the results of that game yesterday, that if this was last year and the same exact things are happening and the same questions there and the Chiefs are struggling and they don't make the playoffs and then the Bills lose early in the playoffs with no Chiefs there to beat them, I do wonder if last year they go, well, you know what, let's move on and let's go get Ben Johnson because this guy is the next great guy. I just don't know that guy's out there to where they go, let's move on from Sean McDermott because here's the home run hire, the can't miss guy, unless they view it in-house and say we're not letting Joe Brady get away. He's the one that everybody wants. We're not letting him get away the way the Ravens let Mike McDonald get away, and they might be regretting that. We're not going to do that, and we're going to go and keep Joe Brady here. That'd be like the one thing, but if Ben Johnson was out there, I could see them going, we're making the move right now because this guy is a superstar coach and put him with Josh Allen, and we're going to get past the Chiefs.
Yeah, totally. And by the way, this is maybe an odd thing to say after losing the game last night, but I don't know if you felt the same way, but I'm sitting there watching that game last night thinking to myself, man, for all the hype that we threw behind Ben Johnson as a head coaching candidate this past offseason and the offseason prior to that, I mean, we might have undersold him. He is brilliant. I mean, it is just – and Kyle Shanahan is unbelievable as well. Yep. So when I talk about the play calling of Ben Johnson, I don't mean that as, Kyle Shanahan wasn't equally impressive. But my Lord, Ben Johnson was doing some just wizardry things last night. I agree that, and people have to understand that just because unheralded head coaching candidates have proven to become very good head coaches, right? I mean, Liam Cohen has had a great first year. He was not being discussed in the same vein that we are discussing Ben Johnson last year, Mike Vrabel as well. So you could have lesser heralded coaches. It's possible that Jesse Minter, the Chargers DC, could become a head coach and look great wherever he ends up. It's also possible that, hey, you hire a lesser heralded coach and there's a reason why he was lesser heralded. But I do think that what a person's stock is in the court of public opinion does matter when a team is evaluating the do we keep or do we fire our current head coach. So I'm in lockstep with you there that if the Bills fall short of expectation in the playoffs and they have to make a decision, or they do make a decision on Sean McDermott, I think it will be pretty clearly because we're moving on from Sean. Yeah. We already have our eyes set on the next Bills head coach.
Field Yates is our guest. And if the road was for them as the 5 seed going to Pittsburgh or Baltimore and then going to Jacksonville, and if somehow they end up with the 7 seed here, if the Chargers beat the Broncos, then the road goes from at Pittsburgh or Baltimore and at Jacksonville to then at Denver and at New England in the first couple of weeks. That's a massive miss. That's a massive miss open receiver there in the end zone, and especially if Josh Allen is playing a little compromised. Field Yates is our guest. I know not all division winners have been decided yet, but is there one that we know is the division winner at this particular point that is more surprising than another? Let's just say Jacksonville goes ahead and beats Tennessee this weekend, and let's give them the win. But without Pittsburgh, Baltimore, Carolina, Tampa, is there one that stands out that it's this is the most surprising division winner, and I wouldn't have guessed it?
Yeah, probably Jacksonville. Jacksonville. I remember when, and I'll talk about the entirety of the move here in a moment, but I remember when the Jaguars made the move up from 5 to 2 in the draft. I thought that was a smart downside bet by the Browns, right? Hey, you could potentially have a top 12 pick next year on top of the number 5 overall pick and a top of the second-round pick, which they use on Quinshon Judkins and so on and so forth. But Jacksonville's just been awesome. And the irony of that move is that it really hasn't paid off, right? I mean, Travis Hunter has missed half the season, and he wasn't exactly, dominating when he did play this year. But Jacksonville has been really, really impressive. Trevor Lawrence is playing really well right now. It's a tough division. You've got a team in Houston that's on the short list for best defense in the NFL. But Jacksonville definitely has my attention with the way that they have performed, especially down the stretch here. Super duper impressed with what they've been able to do. We've had, I guess that's I think it's 3 already, 4 potential last to first division champions, and Jacksonville, the Patriots, the Bears have already clinched their division as well, and the 49ers could get there if they win on Saturday night. So I don't want to take anything away from those other 3, but Jacksonville probably was the least likely for me to believe coming into this season.
Who are you going with out of those 2 that haven't been decided? I mean, again, if Jacksonville beats Tennessee, but Pittsburgh, Baltimore, and then Carolina and Tampa, are you going with the home teams or one of those road games, road teams getting the win?
Yeah, it's my answer in both of these cases is made flimsily. I think Carolina goes there and wins.
Wow.
And I think Pittsburgh holds serve on Sunday night.
Okay.
And I know that would, by the way, be I would be picking 2, I think, underdogs, right? I know that Tampa's favored for sure. I presume Baltimore is favored. I'm sure Vegas right now is baking in the possibility of Lamar playing.
Baltimore's 3.5.
Sort of figure out.
Yeah, 3.5 point favorites for the Ravens.
Yeah, I kind of can't figure out left from right with either.
Yeah.
Really, I guess all 4 of these teams. But I just something about Pittsburgh is so classic Pittsburgh that they would make it as difficult as possible to actually finish off the division, and then do so when the world has kind of tilted away from them and felt like, hey, maybe this team isn't good enough to win the division. Now, I'm not sure there's much of consequence for the Steelers in the playoffs, even if they do win on Sunday night. But I think Pittsburgh finds a way, and I think Carolina finds a way as well. Tampa's 1-7 in their past 8 games. Wow.
Yeah, it's been quite the downslide for them. Visiting with Field Yates, the conversation around here having to do with the offense for the Chiefs and scheme and all of that stuff. The Tennessee Titans are looking for a head coach, and some of the word out of there is they want previous head coaching experience. And if that's the case, like, does it then are we to assume that it comes down to like Matt Nagy or Mike McCarthy based on relationships with the guys in charge of Mike Borgonzi and Chad Brinker, or will they actually give a chance to a Jesse Minter or somebody that hasn't coached before if they feel like that's the best possible route? Do you feel like they're going to pigeonhole themselves, right, wrong, or indifferent, into this guy must have coached in the NFL as a head coach before?
I do not. Do I think it's possible? Yes, because A, that's something that we have seen teams use as a primary criteria in the past, right? That's not a new concept. But B, and it kind of goes back to the Sean McDermott conversation, is that this isn't exactly a loaded field, right? So if you're going to the offensive minds that haven't yet been a head coach in the NFL, who is the guy that immediately pops off the screen that you say to yourself, okay, got to have him? Is it Clint Kubiak? Maybe. And I don't think that. I think that Clint. I mean, all these guys are guesses, but could he be a good head coach one day? He could be. He also was, with New Orleans for one season, and they let him out the door, right? So you can kind of nitpick on any of these. I also would say that one wheel that hasn't yet spun fully is going to spin Sunday night or Monday morning of next week, which is the current head coaches that become available, right? And I wouldn't discount the possibility of a couple of the head coaches that get fired, presumably on Sunday or Monday, being right back in the mix for other jobs as well. I think the Tennessee job actually has become more appealing by the week. I know they lost yesterday, and I know that Cam Ward's numbers are not going to blow anybody away, but I thought there was some pretty neat stuff yesterday from Cam Ward. He does some of this wizardry stuff that's really hard to coach. You kind of have it or you don't, the extending plays. He's also had 4 straight games with 2 passing touchdowns. He's really cut down on the interceptions Cam Ward has in the second half of the season, been far more careful with the football. So not a perfect job, but, man, I think to myself, this kid's got the look of a really good starting quarterback. They've got all the money in the world to pay players this upcoming offseason. It's not exactly New England because New England, I think with Mike Vrabel coming in, there's a little bit more of an element of certainty there, and Drake May might have been maybe a touch further along in Cam Ward. Hard to tell, but, maybe a touch further along in Cam Ward at this time last year. But it's kind of an archetype there. It's like, can you follow some of that New England model? Spend big this offseason, hire a solid head coach, and make that big leap with your quarterback in year 2.
Visiting with Field Yates from ESPN. A couple of quick ones for you. There are odds now out on where Max Crosby will be next year if he is not a Raider. The Cowboys are leading at plus 300 for that's where he would end up. Do the Raiders look to move Max Crosby or field some calls on teams interested in acquiring Max Crosby? And the other part of that would be, should they be looking to move Max Crosby to maybe maximize some first-round picks that they could get for him?
Let me do this. So I think it's possible, yes. It's very easy for me to say that they should because they're a team that's rebuilding with a player. I think Max is late 20s.
He's 28.
It's not, 28. So, this is...
He'll be 29 before the season starts, too. So.
Yep, so just before the season starts next year. So still has prime years left in him, but also he's not 23 or 24, where he's an obvious building block. The only thing that I will say is that I don't have a perfect parallel here, is this one kind of goes well beyond just some of those, fundamental stats that I just gave you, the biography stuff, right? Like how old he is. It's like if you go to a Raiders game, the in-stadium experience is the Max Crosby show, right? Now, part of that's because they haven't had anybody else to build around, but it's not too many players are as sort of built into their current organization's fiber as much as Max Crosby is. So it's one of those things that may be easy to say, on paper, you should be trading this guy, you can get all kinds of assets for return for him, but this is a player who means so much to the organization and to the fans that even if they get a great offer, and even if it might be logical in some ways, I do think it's really like the proverbial measure several times and potentially cut once.
Yeah, interesting. Last one for you is Kelsey's last game on Sunday against the Raiders.
I don't know. I certainly don't have any information there. I'll just say that while I totally respect whatever decision he makes, I hope not. Yeah. I really enjoy watching the player play. He's so good for so long, first ballot Hall of Famer, top 5 at worst tight end in NFL history, brings a real joy to the game. I think he's helped usher in some new fans into the sport. I hope not, but whatever he decides, have to respect it, because if he goes out, even if not literally on top, because the Chiefs, have a chance to either be 6-11 or 7-10, to me, a guy who has done so much for the game and left it in a much, much better spot than when he got there.
Field Yates from ESPN NFL Insider. Field, appreciate it as always. Enjoy the final week. We will talk next week when the playoff matchups are set. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Jason. Talk to you soon.
Absolutely. There's Field Yates. Great stuff from him as always. NFL Insider from ESPN. We'll take a timeout, come back, continue rolling more zone next. All right, wrapping up this hour. Thank you to Field Yates joining us, talking about the NFL. Just the massive implications of a missed open receiver yesterday. And the divisional winners that have gone from worst to first this year. Multiple worst to first division winners this year. It's been a absolutely crazy season this year. We'll also hear from Andy Reid coming up later on in the noon hour. Mick Schaefer joins us at 1 o'clock. We got Learn Funniest Best. All that still to come, as we can talk some Kansas City Chiefs on the other side. And then we'll hear from Andy Reid getting ready for and excited and looking forward to the opportunity of facing off against the Raiders, a well-coached team. All right, thank you to Field Yates. We continue rolling along. We'll hear from Andy Reid coming up later on this hour. Mick Schaefer joins us at the top of the 1 o'clock hour, KSHB 41 sports director. I think he does.
He does. I confirm.
Okay, great.
I texted him.
Okay,
he was
good.
out Friday.
Was he? And he was out with Sunday Sound Off yesterday. He was not on Sunday Sound Off yesterday. He did not sound off on a Sunday yesterday.
I said, "You're back today, correct?" And he said, "Correct."
Okay, so that is something I think that means he's back, right?
Correct.
Yeah. I think that means he's back. Who knows? I mean, who really knows? Falls down a well, eyes go across, gets kicked by me, go back normal. I don't know. Who really does? Matt Foster was in there yesterday for Mick Schaefer, but he'll be here at 1 o'clock. You know, we talked with Field Yates, and they have odds out now on where Max Crosby will be playing next year. The Dallas Cowboys are plus 300 for Max Crosby's services.
What are the Raiders?
I haven't seen it. This might be one of those to where I'm trying to pull up the tweet right now that I saw. I think it is if not the Raiders, here are the odds on favorite. That would make the most sense. Here it is. Let's see it. Bet Online. Where will Max Crosby play next season? All of these teams listed. Asterisks. If not Vegas. Okay, there you go.
Yeah,
that makes sense.
Because I still think he's in Vegas. I
would
don't
wonder
see him.
I wish they would put the odds on it if including the Raiders. Like, what are the odds? So if you include the Raiders, then the Cowboys then go to like plus 900.
Which is very funny considering they didn't pay Micah Parsons.
But they would then trade
those
a couple of first
picks
rounders for Max Crosby and then pay him, who's older than Micah.
The Jerry special.
Yeah. And I don't know if the Cowboys would be in the business of trading, picks for a Max Crosby, but
I know everyone in Kansas City would love Max Crosby, myself included, but let's be real. I don't think the Raiders in any circumstance do that.
No. Although this is a year to where you would go, well, you don't have to pay extra because your pick is at the end of the first round. It'd be one of those to where actually you've got the most enticing pick.
Yeah.
Your draft pick is better than maybe some of these other teams that are trying to trade for Max Crosby. But then if you were trading that pick in the top 10 for Max Crosby, you're also then paying that money instead of the rookie contract for said Max Crosby, although you're getting the given in what Max Crosby is. My goodness, Max Crosby with the Chiefs would be amazing. I would absolutely love that. But the Chiefs aren't also sort of in the market of giving up 2 first-rounders and a second-rounder for Max Crosby to then pay the $30+ million cap hit that it's going to be the next couple of years, while also the cap hit for Chris Jones and a number of other places that you need to go and address.
Yeah.
It would be great in a perfect world if that was the case. But it is not that. I do think the Raiders, and Field Yates brought up an interesting point about Max Crosby to the Raiders isn't just simply some random player to the Raiders. Like, the Raiders traded Khalil Mack, and they got 2 first-rounders for him. They also gave up, I think, another, like maybe a third-rounder, if memory serves. It was like Khalil Mack and a third-rounder for 2 first-rounders. I think Max Crosby brings back more than that. But Khalil Mack to the Raiders is not Max Crosby to the Raiders. And what it feels like, that sort of culture and the fabric of what he is, and sort of viewed synonymously with that particular organization. And as they're struggling to this point, it's like, what's the draw? Well, the draw, it's Max Crosby, and is a huge fan favorite. And so you'd probably be making mad and ticking off, and a lot of Raiders fans that love watching Max Crosby play. So I don't think it's going to happen, Sterling. But I think if you take away the emotional part of it, like if you go to JJ instead of Dayton, and you take away the emotional part of it, and you stick more with this is a business, and this needs to be the decisions that are made for the best interest of the organization and the fans. As far as winning is concerned, I think they should be exploring and seeing what they can get for Max Crosby. This might be the max value for him, no pun intended, I promise. The most value you can get for him.
Maxed with 2 X's value.
That's right, the max 66666 value. But if you don't trade him right now and you're in rebuild mode, when you're ready to compete, is he 30, 31, 32? And then you're ready to go. Maybe he still has 2 or 3 years of dominant play, and it's like, okay, we still have Max Crosby here, but you're paying him a lot of money to go through a rebuild as opposed to, let's say you get 2 firsts and a second. So this year you'd have 2 first-rounders. Next year you'd have 2 first-rounders. This year you'd have 2 second-rounders. You'd be losing Max Crosby. You'd have that $30+ million salary cap to go and use on free agents, and a lot of ammunition to go and use to help accelerate a rebuild there, or keep Max Crosby and just go along the process of the 1 first-rounder this year and second rounder and things like that. Business side, I think it makes more sense to trade him than to keep him.
Sure. Different sport, similar analogy, but different sport, different rules. Obviously, no trading draft picks, but it's almost like Salvador Perez.
I was thinking about that.
I think
too.
Salvi might be the one, where the value isn't just in the play, it's also in who he is and the organizational fabric of even the city. And you're never going to get the return that makes up for that. And by the way, the Royals keeping Salvador Perez, this would be a similar situation. He stayed through the dark times, and then he was part of the leadership through the playoff run.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Not this year, but the year prior,
2024,
right?
yeah, help him along. Because 2023, they might have traded him. Like they were looking into it.
Yeah, and so he was a part of the leadership, and a guy was like, hey, I know what it's like to win here. Let me help you through the playoffs. And I wonder if Max, now he was never been a guy who was really a playoff contender with the Raiders because it's been the Raiders.
Yeah.
But again, I think there's that aspect of it as well, of keeping some of the fabric of the nastiness and the good parts of the culture that is there. And he seems like a culture builder, a guy who plays through every single injury possible, who even when he was listed as doubtful, played in a game because he gets it. He's a guy that gets it. That's who you want to have in the locker room. I don't know how you trade Max Crosby unless you're blown away, because you're drafting a quarterback this year anyways. You already have the draft pick because you've won 2 games. You're there with as long as you lose to the Chiefs, you're worse than the Jets, worse than the Giants, worse than the Titans. You have the number 1 draft pick, right?
Do you think he goes into this offseason and asks? Not publicly of demanding or anything like that, like we've seen from some that have had this sort of contract dispute. He doesn't have that, but asks and says, look, this is another rebuild. I was pumped about Pete Carroll, and Pete Carroll said, look, I win games. I win double-digit games. That's what I do. I'm coming in here. We're getting Ashton Jency. We're going to go get Geno Smith. We're ready to compete right now, and we're going to go and surprise a lot of people. And, Max, you're a big part of this. And then that whole thing blew up. And then I don't know that they go through the rebuild with Pete Carroll, or they move on from Pete Carroll, and now you got a new coach come in, and then, drafting a quarterback and whatever it might be. Like, does Max Crosby have the stomach for another rebuild where he's been in the league since 2019, and he's played in 1 playoff game? Max Crosby has. Like, Patrick Mahomes since 2019 has played in 19 playoff games. It's just a completely different career for 2 guys who are at the top of their position. Max Crosby and Patrick Mahomes, guys that are considered to be in the discussion of the best at their position. Patrick, Josh Allen, all these different conversations that may be out there, but Max Crosby is one of the best edge rushers, defensive ends in the league, and he's played in 1 playoff game.
So
does he then go, man, I'm going to be 29 next year, and we're going to go through a rebuild. Then I'm going to be 30, and at that point, do I get to make the playoffs again and play in late January? Like, could you look into seeing if it makes sense for you to trade me, that we can do this to where we split in a way that makes sense for both of us? The Chiefs took care of Joe Thuney. Different than Max Crosby, I get it. But it was, hey, we're going to move on, but we also want to make it to where we're not trading you to the Jets. These are the teams we're looking at that we could trade. Is there one that makes sense? Bears? All right, let's do it. Let's work out a deal with the Bears. It's also with your input that's there. They made that as amicable, it feels like, as it possibly could be with that particular trade. The Royals with Zach Greinke. They were going to trade him to the Nationals, and he said, no, I don't want to go to the Nationals. And so Dayton Moore said, okay, we'll find another spot then. If you don't want to go to the Nationals, we'll turn that deal down. We're going to accept it if you say yes. You say no, we'll find somewhere else. Milwaukee, what do you think of that? Yeah, I'll go to Milwaukee. Great. All right, let's figure that out then. Here's a deal to Milwaukee. I don't know if they do that with Max Crosby, but I do wonder, Sterling, from Max Crosby's perspective, if it's like, man, it's time for me to go and do something in the postseason and get a ring, and it ain't going to happen here in Vegas anytime
it's
soon.
A Tony G situation almost.
That's a good one, too. Yeah, Tony G, because the Chiefs weren't all that great, and Tony G was sort of like, it's Arrowhead, it's Kansas City, it's the Chiefs, it's Tony Gonzalez.
And then it was a little bit of, okay, I think it's time. Mm-hmm. I think it's a Max Crosby. You're right. Max Crosby side, not the Raiders side. His contract is fine. It's a pretty decent deal, honestly. I mean, which is helpful if you are going to trade him. It's not outrageous. Not Myles Garrett. He's not Myles Garrett, but it's also not the contract of that. Geno Smith had a very front-loaded contract. You can cut him next year and save $8 million, but you're probably going to keep it because it's $26.5 million.
Maybe post June 1.
Or you cut them
maybe
and
designate it post June 1
and a half. Yeah,
break that up to 2 years.
Yeah, it's interesting, the Geno Smith contract. So there's some wiggle room you do have. You'll draft a rookie quarterback. Maybe it's Mendoza. Maybe it's it could be a plethora of guys. Well,
maybe more at Oregon.
So you'll see
guys out there.
I don't know, man. I just he does feel like, and maybe it is a Tony G where eventually he goes, I know I'm part of the city. I get all this stuff, but it's time for me. I don't know if Max Crosby's there yet.
Right, but also, man, like I think I'd feel different in that you would move on from him if he played a few more. If this was like 3 years ago, let's say he got into the league 3 years earlier. Let's say he got into the league in 2016, and this was now 2022 or 2023. Then I would say, look, man, this guy was Oakland. All right, this guy was around the Raiders in Oakland. He felt like, that. And now they moved to Vegas, and it doesn't have that same feel to it. He probably doesn't have the same connection there. But he only played 1 year in Oakland. He's been a Vegas Raider.
Yeah.
Every year of his career except for his rookie year.
He's the face of
the move. He's the face of the Vegas Raiders in that move. I mean, it was Derek Carr, and then now it's Max Crosby. But is that worth it as opposed to what you could get for that guy on the open market? Like, I don't think the Bengals should trade Joe Burrow. I think that's stupid. But if Joe Burrow's going to be unhappy and he's going to Carson Palmer or Andrew Luck this thing and say, I'm just not having fun playing football anymore, and I've made more money than I'm going to spend, and I just want to go and enjoy my life and do other things. It's just not fun for me. And if it's not fun, what's the point? Or it's not fun because it's been a few years where we've had some success, and it was year 2 and year 3 for my career that we went to the playoffs, went to the Super Bowl, then went to the playoffs and played in an AFC championship game. That feels like a lifetime ago because it's been contract extensions and Jamar Chase and T. Higgins and Trey Hendrickson. It's been drama the last 2 years around the Bengals and injuries, unfortunately for him, last couple of years around the Bengals. And it's like, well, I'm not having fun anymore. Mahomes said it was one of the most lacking of fun or boring, whatever he said, years in which they won the Super Bowl, right? It wasn't a lot of fun last year. Winning the Super Bowl. It's different if it's not a lot of fun when you're missing the playoffs back-to-back years, and one of those includes an injury that keeps you out for a while, and you go, I mean, I'm here to win. I won a national championship. I played in a Super Bowl in year 2. I was a play or two away from going to a Super Bowl back-to-back years in year 3. And now I don't know if the Super Bowl is anywhere close with this team because this defense has got awful. We're getting older. The offensive line still sucks. We've got issues, and they ain't going to spend money because they already did it with Jamar and T. Higgins. So now what? I don't know. I wouldn't do that if I was Cincinnati because you don't trade a guy like Joe Burrow to try to find the next Joe Burrow. You keep Joe Burrow and you try to find a way to build around him. They might be too cheap to do that. But Max Crosby is not Joe Burrow. Might be the face, but you're not doing anything with one of the best defensive ends if your quarterback issue is the way that the Raiders has been. And
I think you have to take the fan base to a slight extent now. You're not going to bend over backwards because you understand. I mean, Tyreek Hill was.
They didn't really care about the fan base when they moved from Oakland.
No, or even the chief of the Tyreek Hill trade. They knew that was going to be unpopular. Veach knew that was going to be unpopular. Yeah. But you got to get it right, and they got it right, and so it's okay.
They didn't get the Khalil Mack trade right. They got Josh Jacobs, but then they got
Quillen Farrell or
was it Arnett? Damon Arnett, the cornerback that wasn't any good, and then they got Brian Edwards, the wide receiver. So the draft picks they got for Khalil Mack were now they had their own draft picks too.
Sure.
So you get 2 first round and you get your own. So there's the whole grouping right of it. Like Tyreek Hill, it's like well they got Trent McDuffie and they got Sky Moore and then they got Kennard and a couple of others there for right, but they also were able to get Leo Chenal because they were able to get
maneuver
Joshua Williams
and
or Justin Watson or things like that and Karl Loftus. They were able to do all of those things because they had the extra picks. But you got to get it right, like you said.
Again, part of it with Max Crosby is always going to be different because it's the locker room. It's a little like Vinny in the Royals.
Yeah.
I mean, now Max Crosby, I would say, is a higher level than Vinny, but as far as the player, but the impact and what it means, you can't lose the locker room, and that is a message that would get sent of if you trade Max Crosby, of who's the leader now. Because then you start getting to the wasteland that like the Tennessee Titans. There's no one. The Jets. There's no one. The Giants. There's not maybe Jackson Dart, Dexter Lawrence. Like again, you start getting to the point of it's a rudderless ship with no leader. Max Crosby.
The Giants might be like Cam Scatterbo.
Yeah,
but he was injured, and he might be a guy who his play style. He just might be a guy that you go, man. If Cam Scatterbo was still healthy. He may not be.
And so for Max Crosby and the Raiders,
looking for a wreck.
You're sitting here, and then you have to try and find that emotional leader. Mm-hmm. And I don't know if you can.
But is an emotional leader worth it while you're winning 3 games? He's an emotional leader for a 3-14 team.
Sure.
An emotional leader for a 5-12 team.
Don't argue that.
Yeah, I just, there's an element. Like if
how low can you go?
Yeah.
I mean, what
the Royals and Vinny is different with them making the playoffs and then having back-to-back seasons in which they're above 500, which they haven't done very often in their entire franchise history, as opposed to it's a 100-loss season and Vinny's a cool clubhouse guy. It's they lost 98, but Vinny's really cool and seems like a fun guy in the clubhouse. Okay, or if he were to be one of the best, I don't even want to use Bobby Witt because you're talking about a build-around cornerstone type of like quarterback, if you can go that route in Bobby Witt for baseball, but Vinny, awesome player, right? But they keep losing games. I think it's different when you are winning or close to making the playoffs like they were a few games away this year, 4 games away from having the same record that they did. They made the playoffs. They had a bunch of injuries this year. And then you throw in the clubhouse part of it with Vinny. I think he becomes more valuable on a team that's already winning.
I think 2022 Royals with Salvador Perez, they won 65 games.
Right. That's a good one.
And so, again, that's I think, what you look at it is, can he still be around once we have the turn?
Yep.
Can he still be around?
And can he be good enough to where he's actually helping at the turn, or we're holding on for him? We're holding on to him for a time that's going to come, and he's not going to be this guy anymore. I don't think that's going to be the thing with Max Crosby, because if they start winning in a couple of years, Max Crosby's going to be 30, and he's still going to be at the...
Khalil Mack still playing at a high level at age, whatever.
35?
Yeah, 35. I mean, again...
Is he 35?
I don't know.
That was just a guess.
34.
34?
Yeah. 35 in February, so yeah.
Nailed it.
I mean, again, different player, different style, all that stuff, but still a useful player.
Still a useful player. Not worth $30-something $5 million against the cap that it would be for Max Crosby, and more than that. But it's a fascinating offseason because there are going to be names. There will be some names out there on the trade discussions that may get more of a conversation than initial blush. And I think there will be a lot of teams that will reach out to the Bengals. I think there'll be a lot of teams that reach out to the Raiders too. If I'm the Bengals, I'm not taking the picks because it's like, you can't trade, 5 years in advance. And it's like, what is that franchise type quarterback worth? How many first rounders is he worth? You wouldn't trade Patrick Mahomes for 5 first rounders right now. No way. For Joe Burrow, if he's unhappy and might be wanting to leave anyway, do you get a team that has, like the Jets? They've got 2 first rounders this year, 2 first rounders next year. Do you get both of those years? Do you get 4 of them? 4 first rounders the next 2 years and a couple of second rounders for Joe Burrow? And you move him to the Jets, and it's like, well, yeah, he wasn't happy anyway. But now
he'll be happy with the Jets.
But now we've got 6 first-round draft picks the next 2 years here in Cincinnati, and we've got 4 second-rounders. So we've got 6 first-rounders and 4 second-rounders the next 2 years here in Cincinnati for Joe Burrow. He wasn't happy anyway. So now what? I think it's something that you got to know between the ears of Joe Burrow.
Yeah.
And he's an interesting cat that I'm not sure many people know between the ears of what's all going on with Joe Burrow there. We'll take it. Honestly, he might be more Andrew Luck than Carson Palmer.
Yeah.
When Carson Palmer was, I'm going to retire if you don't trade me, he might be the trade me or not, I'm just going to retire. Like, I'm just done playing football, just out of nowhere, just hanging it up. I'm going to go live my life doing some other things.
And go be a guy that looks for dinosaur bones or something.
Right, which is pretty badass, though.
No, imagine being an offensive lineman. Like everyone's like, oh, I got a golf cart, I got golf clubs, I got a new cooler, I got all this, I got a new watch. He's like, here you go. Here's a dinosaur bone.
I got a rock.
Yeah,
I like my rock.
Like, is it cool? Sure, yeah, but I'm not a paleontologist. Like, what if you're like, hey, man, yeah, that's cool and all. What am I supposed to do with this? I can hang it up. Can't play with it. Can't play with that bone.
He gave him fossils, watches, right? Really nice, expensive fossils. You got a watch? Yeah. What'd you get? A fossil? Oh, nice. It's expensive? Yeah, it's really, really nice. It was made a long time ago. It's an antique. It's a bone, actually. Yes, it's a tooth. It's a dinosaur tooth. And that's what we got from him. And so that's cool. But yeah, awesome. We'll take a time out, come back. We'll hear from Andy Reid on the other side of the break. More Zone next. All right, we continue right here on Sports Radio 810 WHB. Jason Anderson with you, Sterling Holmes, Michael Darcy. We head up until 2 o'clock. We'll hear from Andy Reid right now. Mick Schaefer joins us in the 1 o'clock hour. Some learned, some funniest, some best coming up in the 1 o'clock hour. Andy Reid with his first ever Monday press conference as a coach of the Kansas City Chiefs with this scenario that the game means nothing. And also, they are already out of the playoffs. Because even 2014, when they missed the playoffs, they still had a chance to make the playoffs going in that last week. So here is Andy Reid's opening statement getting ready for this showdown against the Raiders.
So don't have anything to give you necessarily on injuries. I think we came out of the game injury-free, so we're headed in the right direction there. Trey was the only one that was just working through his ankle, and we'll see how he does coming up here. But for the most part, we made it through okay. Anyways, with that, time's yours there.
Hey, Coach, heading into this last one, I mean, what do you kind of want to get accomplished with Chris this week and having an actual full long week to get prepared for a game, because he hasn't quite had that yet, has he? Right.
He'll get a normal week in of work, and look forward to seeing what he does with that. He did a nice job last week of getting everything together and organized in his mind, and was able to manage the game well there.
It's a good point about, hey, you're filling in for Gardner Minshew on a Sunday. He gets injured. And now you're the starter. You're going to be taking all the reps, and you're playing on Thursday. So here's Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and then you're playing on Thursday, as opposed to Thursday's game's over. You're the starter against the Raiders. Here's Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and then Monday, a regular week, taking the normal week of reps as the starter. We'll see if this weekend against the Raiders, although a much worse team and now without Max Crosby, is a better indication of what Oladokin could be, as opposed to against the Broncos. That was an awesome defense, and you got a couple of days as the starter when you don't really have practice that you would, going into it, when you didn't take the ones against the Tennessee Titans. We'll see. I'm interested to see what he looks like, interested to see what the game plan looks like for the Chiefs, interested to see if they decide to play some younger players now that they know they're out of it. Oh, wait. Interested to see, what happens with that against the Raiders.
Over on under one target for Jalen Royals.
Under.
Over under one carry for Brashard Smith. That's 0 back-to-back weeks.
I'm going to say he gets 1. So if you said over under 1.5, I think I'd go under.
Over under
1.5 is probably
10 snaps for Bassa.
Under.
I think he had 4 last week.
Yeah, under. You can't have him out there. You might lose the game.
By the way, he looked good.
You might win the game. I think that might be what it is.
God, I hope. But shout out Chris Jones for jumping off sides. That's a man who just understands the bigger picture of the organization.
His weekly offsides, always a killer.
Yeah, but you know what? This one was smart. This is one, he's like, I'll wear it. People know I've already jumped off sides before. I've had a rough season in terms of fans' complaints, but this is about getting back to a Super Bowl. What's the best way to get back to a Super Bowl?
Higher draft pick.
Winning this game and not getting a higher draft pick, losing this game and getting higher draft picks. I'm here regardless. All right, I'm not getting cut if I jump off sides. Hey, Pickens, I got this. You hold your water. I got this. I know they're not going to snap the ball. That doesn't matter. We need to make sure this is a loss, okay? Because we're going to beat the Raiders. There's nothing we can do about that. They're just that bad. So we need to make sure that 7 wins is the max.
I don't know, man. They got waxed by the Titans. The Raiders game this is full-on tank job.
God, I hope
you get
so.
Waxed by the Titans, good luck against the Raiders.
Yeah,
they're the same.
I'm with you. It'll be tough to root against the Chiefs against the Raiders. So I don't think I'll be doing that. It'll just be if they win, they win. If they lost, whatever. And they get a better draft pick if they end up losing and might get the 4th or 5th or 6th best player in the draft, depending on how it unfolds, because there might be a couple of quarterbacks taken in the top 5.
Yeah.
That wouldn't be viewed as the top of the draft. overall players. So now it's like you're picking 8th. Well, there's 3 quarterbacks ahead of you. Okay, so now there's only going to be 4 positional players, non-quarterbacks, that are going to be taken before you get your choice of the rest of them. Not too bad. That'd be cool. Andy Reid continued with his press conference. Pete Sweeney asked about Patrick Mahomes helping out with the prep this week while going through rehab.
Yeah, Pete, he's around, so he's in the building and working, doing his rehab, and spending a lot of hours doing it. He's really attacked that, and will continue to do that. So he's around and sees the guys, and but most of his time is being spent rehabbing.
Does he make this trip to Vegas, or will he stay?
Yeah,
back?
probably not. Not this soon. No.
Yeah, I didn't think he would go to Vegas, but good question, just to see if he's going to be there. It makes sense that he was at the stadium on Christmas Day watching the game and in the suite and everything, but not there in Vegas because he couldn't be on the sideline anyway. It's not like, hey, you can move around, you're fine. You got an ankle injury or whatever. You got a wrist injury, you're out for the year, but, you can be there on the sideline helping out Oladokin. No, you're going to be up in a suite watching the game anyway, so no reason for him to be there at the Raiders game this weekend. So the last time we see Patrick Mahomes was there in the game in the booth on Christmas night with Oladokin against the Broncos. But helping out with prep work sounds like no. Is he going to help him prep this week with Oladokin? Well, he's around, he's in the building, but he's working on rehab. So it's really where he's at. Like, he sees the guys, but his time is spent attacking the rehab, not necessarily in meetings with the guys going through the game plan or anything like that. Jesse Newell asked Andy Reid about the possibility of having a high pick this year to help out in 2026 and beyond.
Yeah, Jesse, with Brett and his crew doing it, it's that part's exciting to see and what takes place, and something to look forward to. You're right; it's not where you want to be, but it is where we are, and we've got good people doing the picking, headed up by Brett.
Great, and I wouldn't think this is any other way, but is Travis 100% playing this weekend against the Raiders?
Yes.
It's a good question by Jesse, because I actually thought about that, and one of the things that I was going to, if Jesse did not ask that particular question, it was one of the things I was going to wonder is if Travis Kelce plays on Saturday, and maybe it's still the case. If Kelce plays on Saturday, is that an indication that this is his last year? That he knows he's got one game left putting on the uniform. That was his last game at Arrowhead. Now he's got one game left there in Vegas, as opposed to if Kelsey's like, no, I'm going to return next year. I know I haven't made the full decision, but I'm going to return next year. Yeah, you could sit out week 18. You don't need to play in this particular game. You'll be back next year. I think it's also an indication that he doesn't know. So if he makes a decision to walk away, take in as much as you can one more week of football, putting on the jersey and knowing in that game at Arrowhead could be the last time you ever walk out of the tunnel and play at Arrowhead. In this game in Vegas could be the last time you ever put on the uniform and the pads in your life, the last time you play a football game, what you've essentially been doing your entire life.
We do have the games now. Chiefs play Sunday at 3.
Yep, 3:25.
Thank you.
Uh-huh. People are going to be like, Sterling said 3. It's 3 o'clock. Where are they at?
3:25. Ravens Steelers Sunday night.
Yeah, Sunday night.
So that's for the AFC North.
Yep.
That is Sunday night.
Winner gets in, loser goes to Cancun.
Saturday, 3:30, Panthers Buccaneers.
Same thing. Winner gets in, loser goes to Cancun.
And then 7 p.m. Saturday night, Seahawks Niners for potential first place, and a lot on the line there. So,
so there are some games with some meaning this weekend, head to head, but most of the games are either meaningless or you're heavy favorites to win that game to solidify your spot. Chargers and Broncos is interesting because that could be the Chargers staying out of the 7 seed and the Broncos dropping to the 2 seed and not getting a bye, versus the Chargers being the 7 seed, the Broncos getting the bye, and L.A. getting sent to New England in the first round in the wild card. That's a massive game with implications of playoffs, because if the Chargers win and let's say somehow New England loses, just for S's and G's, then there is a scenario where Buffalo could be the 7 seed and the wild card game is in New England against the 2 seed. That's not what you would want when you are the 5 seed with an outside shot of still winning the division until you miss an open receiver on the 2-point conversion. Andy Reid continued. Matt Derrick asked Andy if they will hold any of the veterans out to give the young players some playing time.
I don't. The only one I think is questionable there would be Trey. He kind of pushed through that ankle, and he would probably push through this game too. But I'm most likely going to hold him back a little bit, and so he just that thing's been bugging on him for a while.
And I know
that'd be probably the only one. Yeah.
Apologize there. I know you've gone through this every year for the last few years, but is there any scenario that you can imagine where you're not back as the coach next year?
I'm listen. I think I'm coming back. Right. If they'll have me back, I'll come back. You never know in this business, Matt. So that's a tough one, but I plan on it. Yeah.
Thanks, Coach.
Yeah.
So there you go. There's Matt. Again, there's some good questions there. Jesse Newell with is Travis going to play this weekend? Yes, he is. Okay. Andy, you get this every year. Is there a scenario you imagine where you're not back next year? No. I mean, if they have me, I'll be back. I'll be the head coach. So not retiring as long as they'll have me. The NFL is a crazy business. I don't think it's that crazy, though. Yeah. I don't think the NFL is a crazy business to where Clark Hunt and Brett Veach make the decision that, you know what, Andy, it's just not, you don't have it anymore. Yeah, you lost your fastball this year. So after going to 3 Super Bowls in a row and 5 out of 6 and winning 3 Super Bowls, you just don't have it anymore. So you missed the playoffs this year. You got to go. This is a result. This is what have you done for me next business. Sorry, Andy. Yeah, it's crazy. It's just not that crazy. So, yeah, he'll be back. And because they'll have him, so retirement not on the docket this offseason. I don't think many people were talking about that, but still, get it out there on record. So it's a good question from Matt Derrick. I do want to talk about what he said in the previous answer before the follow-up that Matt Derrick had on Andy's future. We'll get into that on the other side of the break. Mick Schaefer joins us at 1 o'clock. More Zone coming up next. All right, you're in the zone on this Monday edition of the show. Rams-Falcons coming up tonight right here on Sports Radio 810 WHB. Mick Schaefer coming up at 1 o'clock. Learn Funny's Best coming up later on in the show as well. 913-912-4810. Hawk Talk coming up at 6 o'clock as well with Bill Self tonight right here on Sports Radio 810 WHB. I think it was it was Matt Derrick that asked, will there be any veterans that get rest so that some of the younger players can play? And Andy Reid answered that with potentially only Trey Smith. He said Trey's the only one questionable. He's been playing through that ankle injury, and he's probably going to continue to try to play through that ankle injury. And so I'm most likely going to hold him back, but he would be the only one. And that was more a veterans not playing so that you could play young players, not is anybody going to miss the game because of injury?
Yeah.
So this has been a frustrating part for a couple of weeks now. In going into the Titans game, what were they going to look like? Who were they going to play? What was the game plan going to look like? Who were we wanting to see in a game that then meant nothing except for, draft position? And they came out of that thing not playing any younger players. And the most embarrassing part about that, as you guys talked about, is that not only did they not play their players or their younger players to see what they had, they tried to win the game.
Yeah.
They played their regular guys, tried to win the game, and got embarrassed by the Titans. It would be one thing if Jalen Royals was out there and no Juju Smith-Schuster, if you had Caliendo in there, if you had or Hunter Norzad or something like that in there.
Bassa.
You had Bassa in there. You had Kevin Knowles playing every snap on the outside or whatever it might be. Like you had just different guys in there playing. Pickens was playing a lot more. And you just, and Brashard Smith was your main running back. Like it feels a little bit different. It's like, all right, well, they got beat, but it's a preseason game. The Titans are trying to play for some momentum and some culture wins at the end of the season with their number one pick. And they don't have a head coach for next year, but, showing that they're still competing and playing hard and all that stuff, whatever. But you went out there and tried to win the game. And you got beat down. That was embarrassing. Well, yeah, but Gardner Minshew is okay. So if that's the case, then when Gardner Minshew went down, then play all the young players. If that's the case. So that was embarrassing. You tried to win the game against the Broncos as well. You didn't win the game. You weren't embarrassed, but you didn't win the game. You're going to try to win the game against the Raiders this weekend, whether you win or lose. If you're going to try to win the game, you better win the game on Sunday, because that still continues to be even more of an embarrassment. I think they should play as many young players as possible, but this is now going to be 3 games in a row where we have said that same sentiment, and Andy Reid is clearly not going to do that. As he was asked, are there any players that you may sit so that younger players can play? And also extra rest for the vets. They're already getting rest that they haven't gotten before, but they're going to go out there and put more mileage and hits on their body in the last game of the season, where it's like, well, you want to rest guys so they don't get injured for the postseason? Okay. So what I don't want to happen is somebody that's going to be a part of next year's team to go out there and suffer a pretty bad injury that then costs them this offseason and maybe the first part of next year when it was unnecessary to be out there playing anyway.
So you can't sit everyone because of
I say sit everyone and lose the game. Forfeit.
No, yeah. Because of roster construction, and Creed Humphrey has a Iron Man-esque type streak rocking right now. He's going to at least start the game.
Yep, then take him out.
No, I don't argue with a lot of the sentiment, but again, that brings the point of you want to see the young guys, but now it seems like Andy's doing it to spite everyone who wants to see him. It's like,
to hell with you guys.
It's like, yeah, you want to see it? You get Juju Smith-Schuster for 91. And this is not a knock on Juju. I'm not trying. I feel bad because he's been the guy that everyone points to. It's not his fault. Like, if your coach says go out and play, you're going to go out and play. I get that. But at some point, I want the coach to say, hey, Juju, appreciate all you've done. Hey, you might even be back next year on a small deal as a wide receiver 5-4 and just be the blocking wide receiver.
Yeah.
Cool. And even the Travis Kelce one's fascinating because, like, if he does retire, what the hell do you have after him? Noah Gray's regressed dramatically. Jared Wiley's never shown anything. Jake Brenningstool's yet to play.
Big Bob.
Big Bob is not the answer going forward. This team is just so weirdly constructed as they went in this year, and you have no idea where the youth is, but they still won't play the youth, so you still have no idea. Like, do the Chiefs need a wide receiver next year? Or is Jalen Royals going to be it? Can Jalen Royals be that wide receiver 3, or is he just a guy they go, he's not it? Is Brashard Smith a running back or a wide receiver? Because after that Raiders game, you basically said he's apparently a wide receiver. He's not getting any carries now.
Yeah.
I just don't understand.
So that Pacheco and Kareem Hunt can be the guys to get the carries that one or maybe both won't be back next year.
And Jeffrey Bassa, is he your Drew Tranquil replacement, or do you have to bring Drew back because you have no idea what Bassa can be? Which, if that's the case, that makes it even worse that you drafted Jeffrey Bassa because there were other running backs in that area that could have been an impact player on this current team this year.
Yeah.
I mean, again, it just goes back to, do they apparently have some affinity for playing veterans, even in games that don't matter because of some loyalty aspect? I don't know. Or do they just think that Brashard Smith, Royals, and Bassa are that bad that they're not part of the future at all? Well, if that's the case, that's even worse.
Cooper McDonald played 21 snaps. I mean, we're talking
I'm
about
Bassa, which
I'm totally fine with it. Yes.
He's a rookie. I'm cool with McDonald
so
playing.
they clearly think there's more there with Cooper McDonald than Jeffrey Bassa, at least from a particular role that they wanted Cooper McDonald to play.
With the more Leo role.
Yeah, and Spags talked about that there are going to be there's a different group of guys that have to fill in for Leo Chanel. It's not a one-for-one. It's not Mahomes is out, so Gardner Minshew's in. Minshew's out, so Oladokin's in.
Yeah.
Chanel's out, well, that doesn't mean it's just Cooper McDonald, or it's just Jeffrey Bassa, or it's just, Cole Christensen, or it's
Jack Cochran.
Jack Cochran or whoever along the way. It's a mixture of all of those guys. Okay, that's fine. But Bassa played only 4 snaps in that particular game. And I feel like even if you get some snaps this game, you've missed a real opportunity of having a few weeks in a row where those guys are viewed as part of the game plan, prepping like it, and not you're going into a preseason game where guys just go out there and play. We're not really game planning here, for this or that. No, these are good, real, actual test runs where you're in a game plan, you're calling plays, you're making audibles at the line of scrimmage, you're doing all those things of what you've studied in film room and had the scout against all week. Those are better test runs than there's no real game plan here. We're not really doing much. We're putting you out there in position to see if you can play. Just run and react and make plays there. And then we'll find what you can do and what you can't do, and we'll find a way to put you in the game and utilize that with our different game plans. I feel like you miss an opportunity with these 3 weeks to be able to do that, and whether that's Jalen Royals or it's Brashard Smith or whoever. But to your point, it is them saying that Jalen Royals is not ready to play over Juju Smith-Schuster. Brashard Smith is not a running back. And they think Jeffrey Bassa right now is just a special teamer.
Yeah. And again, you had a chance, as you mentioned, you could have done the Titans game to give him confidence, the Broncos game to play him against a playoff caliber team, and say, hey, here's what it's going to look like. Can you handle a playoff caliber team? And then again, the Raiders, who we'll see, this just feels like a tank off of both teams don't really care. Maybe I'm wrong. I know we keep hearing it. And the Chiefs players, for all their credit, Trey Smith and all these guys fighting through everything they possibly can to play, but again, just the frustration lies of this is maybe one of the few times you'll ever have a opportunity to play young guys in meaningless games in the regular season. Meaningless for one side, your side, not the other side, and yet you just didn't take advantage of it. I bet Veach would be happier if you would have played this game, because now he has to figure out what he has. And do you need to go back in the linebacker, wide receiver? We know they need to go back in the running back cupboard. But, do you need a wide receiver 3, or can Royals be that? Do you need another linebacker because they think Boss's special teams only? Like, there are some things now that Veach has to figure out without actually seeing game action of these guys.
Yeah. And they talked about, playing guys a little bit differently in the preseason because they wanted to give as much opportunity and time for, Brett Veach to figure some of those things out. I will say, as much as we're talking about guys who aren't playing and we'd like to see them play more, thank God they're not just throwing out Amenahue and Michael Dana opposite George Karlaftis.
They are playing Pickens, which I'm cool with.
But Gelati is getting. Gelati and Karlaftis were the two snap leaders on defensive end in the game. In fact, snap leaders on the defensive line overall.
Yeah, that's good.
Was Karlaftis at 51, Gelati had 45. The next closest was Chris Jones at 38. Amenahue and Michael Dana combined to play 60. It's 67.
One fewer snap than 68.
Thank you. One more than 66. They combined for that amount of time in there, and Jerry Tillery's playing 37 snaps as opposed to Zach Pickens only playing 19. I'd like to see that flipped because Tillery shouldn't be back next year. But also, I don't need to see Mike Edwards out there for 15 snaps and having Jaden Hicks play only 30.
Yeah.
I mean, if Jaden Hicks is making mistakes in year 2 that you didn't expect him to make, what better time to get him out there and playing and getting more and more experience out there? Whereas when you were trying to make the playoffs, he can't be out there because he's making some mistakes that we didn't expect him to make, so Mike Edwards got to be in there.
Totally.
We're not going to make the playoffs.
That.
Put him out there. Put him out there. Let him make the mistakes live. Let him be a dime linebacker. Let him see. This is the time to see. We have an issue with Bolton on the field in coverage on third down, but we can't take him off the field because he's the green dot and he knows everything.
You can't because the helmet situation.
The helmet situation, right? But is there a guy that maybe can from time to time relieve Nick Bolton in obvious passing situations? Now would be a great time to find out. Can somebody else be the green dot? Can I don't know, just another but the green dot thing does complicate the whole issue. But Jaden Hicks, those guys need to play more.
Twitter thinks he's funny.
Shame on you nerds.
His wife and kids think he's lame.
No!
We couldn't get Paul, so we're stuck with Mick.
Yep. Okay, still got it going on.
Mick Schaefer on The Zone with Jason Anderson.
Hold your ears, folks. It's showtime.
All right, hanging out on a Monday edition of The Zone right here on Sports Radio 810 WHB. Mick Schaefer hanging out with us, heading up until 2 o'clock.
2 o'clock.
Hello, Mick.
What's up, boy? Hey, it's been a while
Hello.
for you. It's been
a while.
I spent a month with Sterling last week.
I always say
We
I
had fun
spent
though, didn't we? We had a good time.
I was only here for 2 of the days for like 2 hours total.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's not like you really were grinding hard.
No, but I'm sure you were.
Seriously, I grind so hard.
You were grinding
I'm
away.
the hardest grinder.
Yeah, I bet.
I always say I spent 3 years in Wyoming for 3 months. So it was a good couple trips around the sun.
Fun.
We had a great time. We had Rotten Tomatoes fun, did we not?
Did you have Rotten Tomato fun?
We did.
Oh, fantastic.
Christmas movies.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We'd learn
Oh, yes.
You did a little LFB on Monday. Yeah.
Oh, did you?
Everything
You
goes
did that
quicker
whole thing.
without you.
That makes sense.
A, it's one less person.
Uh-huh.
2, it's not you talking.
Oh, great. I'll just, you know what? I'll sit this one out. Sterling, go ahead.
So I saw the movie Anaconda.
So did
Anaconda.
I, yesterday.
Yeah, and
Don't give a
2 days
spoiler.
ago.
Don't give a
2 days
spoiler. I
ago.
want to see it.
Okay,
I want to see it.
so
I recommend it.
Yes, dude,
I
I'm
do too.
so
I
pumped.
thought it was going to be like dumb and campy and whatever. Great cast.
Dude, I
Great
have been-
story. It's a fun movie. Isn't it?
I'm the
It's
exact
funny.
opposite, Mick. I'm so pumped for it. Like,
Really?
I have high expectations
Because
for
I heard
what I'm going to...
somebody said it was not getting good reviews.
Yeah, and the trailer looks horrible. When you see the trailer, you're like, this
Yes.
looks like it's going to be...
They did not reveal like a bunch of funny things in the trailer.
Yes, the movie got better as it went. Normally, you know how movies start strong and then they really slow down and they get preachy and it's like some message that you're like,
Yes.
you're like,
Know
bleep
that.
off.
It was just a
Thanks,
fun
thanks
movie.
Hollywood, get it.
Yeah.
This is way better. This is like it starts off starts off fine and then it gets better and better. It
I
picks up
liked the
steam.
story immediately. Struggling actor and
Yeah.
his best friend back in Buffalo. I love the term Buffalo sober now.
Yeah, I'm Buffalo
Which is
sober now.
awesome.
Yeah.
Do you know that term?
No, but I
just beer and wine.
Okay.
And then a little bit of
Some of the lighter liquors.
some of the lighter liquors.
Awesome. No, I was gonna go see it on over the break while I was off, but it didn't. I thought it came out like the 21st, so I was really dumb.
Christmas Day. We went.
I know.
We went
it
Christmas
came out
Day.
Christmas Day.
Like the day, 2 days after.
Yeah, I thought it came out the 21st. I'm like, yeah, I'm going to go see that definitely. And I'm like, oh, it comes out the 25th. And then I was going to go see Is This Thing On with Will Arnett.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh, yeah, but that comes out January 4th. And I'm like, well, this sucks. I've got all this time off to not do anything, and I can't go to the movies. And because then, or, yeah, so, oh, well.
It's really good. And that the acting is, I didn't know Steve Zahn was in it when I saw him. Like,
Yeah.
no, this is going to be a great experience. It was, when it wasn't funny, it was still fun. Right? It was fun. It moved quick and everything.
Yeah, it was
Could
an hour-
recommend it. I was
hour and a
low
half.
expectations, and it was great.
I was the
Hour and a
exact
half.
same way. I mean, it's just they knew what they were doing. And by the way, I need to point this out.
Point it out.
This is like a learned, but maybe instead of a best, it's a worst. Why the bleep? Movie's supposed to start at 3:45, right?
I know, right?
Oh,
They get
don't be
this.
my dad.
Don't be
4:30.
Mr. Schaefer.
4:30.
45 minutes?
45 minutes.
It really did?
It was
It must have started late
It was
then.
4:22 when it started. 4:22. So that is how long? 22 plus 15 is 37 minutes. 37 minutes of commercials.
37.
Are you
37.
sure
Positive.
they started at 3:45 with the trailers? Because sometimes they start
Yeah,
late.
that's what it was.
I love trailers.
I
love previews.
No, because those movies.
I could sit there
all
for a
look
half
bad.
hour.
You grew up in
There wasn't
Caldwell.
a
You do love
single
trailers.
movie.
Double
used to
wide.
live in one.
There wasn't a
Love
single
them.
movie in there that go, yeah, this looks good. They all looked buns. From 2 scoops of ass to atrociousness. This is the only thing that was there.
You didn't like that?
Did you measure
Chris
them on-
Hemsworth one action adventure with the Hulk? What's his name? Mark
Ruffalo.
Ruffalo. Yeah.
They knew.
What was the movie about?
One's a jewelry thief. One's an FBI agent, and I can't remember the woman in it.
Don't remember. They were bad. All the previews looked
Did you
just...
grade it on a scale of how many scoops of ass each movie? You should do that. The Siskel and Ebert of scoops of ass.
Dude, how many ass scoops do you get? And the
Call
more,
it
the
Sterling's
worse.
ass meter.
How would don't say that one fast? How would you rate the Anaconda?
Well, I guess once no scoops of ass.
No scoop. That means it's great.
Sure.
That means it's
Yeah,
really
it was
good.
good. There's no
It's really
no.
good.
Well,
another movie we watched over the break, which had great reviews. Streamed that one. One Battle After Another. Leo
I haven't seen that
DiCaprio.
one yet.
It was like okay,
3.5 hours of
3.5 hours.
Okay.
What are we doing? What are we doing? It took me 2 nights to finish it. And so I had high expectations for that one.
Yeah.
Part of it might be the expectations, but it was like, okay. And then Anaconda was just a fun Saturday.
I've got high expectations for Anaconda and Is This Thing On?
And by the way,
I really want to go see that one.
That's what matters. I'm so tired of, for example, maybe people disagree with me. The movie,
most people do most of the time.
The movie La La Land.
Never seen it.
Sorry. I walked out after about 20 minutes.
Well,
that movie, it's won
bad.
It's won all these awards.
Well, because L.A. or Hollywood loves movies about Hollywood.
Yes.
That is,
I'm like, this movie, 4 scoops. That's the Sterling scoop. That's the most scoops.
I'm with you on that one.
Is it 0 to 4?
It's 0 to 4. Like
Okay.
4 stars, right? That's the Ebert
Sterling
meter.
was baffled the whole time. Like, why did they all start singing?
Why?
And how do they know
Yes,
the
and
words
why are they jumping on
spontaneously
cars?
to these songs?
You know why LA traffic's so bad?
Why?
Because they break out
All-
in song
all
and
the
jump on
songs.
top of the roof.
That makes sense.
I was
yeah.
so pissed. I'm like, no wonder it takes me 3 hours to get to Anaheim from LA. This is dumb. Horrible movie, La La Land wins all these awards. All this. Oh my gosh, it's a cult classic.
Was it, though?
No.
Okay.
Gosh, La La Land
The
gets my
Saturday
nerves.
Night Live skit, I think it was with Norm Macdonald, when it was West Side Story, and Norm Macdonald is there with the friend like Jets and the Sharks, and he's there with some guys walk down, some tough guys, but they aren't actually in West Side Story. And Norm Macdonald's like, yeah, we're gonna mess you punks up. Yeah, come on, boys, and they start doing a little. He's like, oh, what's going on? And the other guys have like knives and guns. And he's like, yeah, stop. They start singing. No, this is not what I thought was going to happen here, guys.
That's
Dancing.
a decent Norm Macdonald, by the way.
Yeah,
It's
he's
not-
great at impressions.
It's not that good.
It was better than I expected, though, because his voice is very unique. That was better than I thought it was going to be.
He's really good at impressions.
No.
I know,
it's
but I
not.
hate giving him credit. So
Do your Sterling impression. It's pretty good too.
Thanks.
okay, I get heated sometimes when we talk about bad movies that the elites love. Okay, this is big movie trying to tell you what to like.
Big movie. That's
Big
what they've
movie.
always called. Not Big Hollywood or
Not
anything.
Hollywood.
Big movie. Yeah, that's what they call. No, I'm looking forward to watching those. So that's awesome, man. But your Christmas was good. Other than that,
Great Christmas. Got to spend it here. I love not traveling for Christmas, but then didn't mind. Got in the car, spent 2 days back in my hometown, and that was great. And yeah, it
Awesome,
was.
man.
I had to work Christmas, of course, and Christmas Eve, and all those other days. And
you got time and a
Appreciate
half
that.
though, right?
yeah, that's exactly it.
You get a comp day or 2 or 3 out of that.
I did get comp day.
Oh,
comp
that's
days.
good.
We get floating holidays, banked holidays,
good.
all that
Yeah,
stuff.
that's nice.
I keep those for posterity. I probably dig into half those every year.
Do you?
Yeah.
Yeah. We don't actually. I don't. Do we have a system around here? I think we just
You
take
have
days
no
off
system.
whenever.
Yeah.
Isn't that how it works? Ask
I
Todd
counted
that how it works for that.
Sterling had 105 days of vacation this year.
Okay, there's zero chance I'm here more than Jason.
I don't know about that.
Check the month of December.
Check the
If you specifically
yes.
look at December, yes, that is correct.
That's true.
That is
That's
correct.
pretty good. Come on, that's pretty good.
No, that was
good.
good. I like that one. That was
I
pretty
was
good.
thinking, how am I going to refute this?
Hold on.
I don't need to.
All we have to do is look at December.
Judge, was he here all of December and was Jason gone?
I mean, Judge, I get it. Like,
Judge,
you are looking
answer
at
the question.
You're looking at the 2 days where I murdered somebody. Those are only 2 days of my entire life.
What about the days
Every
I
other
didn't?
day of my life, I have never murdered somebody, and you're paying attention to 2? Should we be judged on our worst days? Should we really be judged on our worst days, Judge? That's what I ask you, who's judging.
Hey, I
And
didn't
you'd be
miss a
like,
day
yes.
until the first
Yeah,
golf trip
actually.
in July.
I was going to say, check the zone transcripts and how often is trip with my boys this weekend said.
But I don't normally miss days for that. I just go
you
on
absolutely do.
Friday. I'll miss
Fridays.
a Friday.
A lot of Fridays.
Yeah, because we'll leave Thursday night. Well, dude, the club
He misses in for posterity while you collect them.
Yes.
You collect the days for posterity. He actually misses.
I
days for
shuffle
posterity.
mine over to Sterling. It's all a balance.
This is the first time.
I take Lebos.
Yeah. It's the first time over Christmas that I didn't work. Just took the whole week off, you know. I think it may have something to do with the non-playoff
You're welcome.
situation for the Chiefs, as
I
opposed to years past where they're in the
Yeah.
playoffs, and it's like, no, I'm going to
I'll
do the
work
shows.
Thanksgiving, Christmas, and I'll work New Year's Day.
Oh, really?
That's great.
Yeah, I'm trying to talk Todd into having a New Year's Eve off.
Are we?
Well, I mean,
Oh no, it took 5 seconds. I'm like, are we working New Year's Eve? He goes, yeah. Okay.
Okay.
That was the extent of me
is it
talking
the
him
eve
into it.
if you get off at 2?
The eve starts at 12:01.
Technically it is. It's not the
so
evening, but yes.
It's still the eve. There's no ning, but it's the eve of all said things. Yes. No, it was. I'm glad that the Christmas was good. The holidays were good, and now we're back to.
What do you do in January? What do we do? Do they play other sports? Is college basketball, has it started yet?
No.
I'm an AP poll voter, and I'm asking that question.
No,
there was no poll today, by the way.
No, you know why? Because Missouri, they clearly don't know that it started, so I don't think it started yet.
No, I went. Last night I started reading college basketball previews for this season. They came out in like August.
The size of the conference now. I think they start conference play in November.
Yeah. They came out in these previews, like I'm looking at them, and they're all from like September. I'm like, can we get an updated preview here? I mean, can we get an updated preview? Like
the college football portal hasn't even opened yet. You can't expect me to pay attention to this.
Come on, people, ridiculous. I'm watching bowl games and Chiefs games, and look. Week 18 for the Chiefs, Mahomes doesn't play. We're used to that around here, okay?
That's right.
Had you told me that at the beginning of the season, I would have lost
first half of his career, he didn't have a Week 18.
I would have lost a substantial amount of money betting on the Chiefs to win the division if you told me that Patrick Mahomes was not playing Week 18.
You would have lost even more just to bet on the Chiefs to make the playoffs.
Yeah, do the Chiefs make the playoffs, yes or no? Mahomes isn't playing Week 18 against the Raiders?
How do you not make the playoffs? Lose every game? We don't even know.
Yeah, what is this about? I'm not sure. Everybody makes the playoffs, right? Doesn't every single team get to go to the playoffs? I thought that's how it worked.
You would have lost your entire family's life savings betting on them to be eliminated with 3 games left.
Mahomes isn't playing in the final game of the season. Do they make the playoffs?
Well, that would have been your first thought. Okay, Mahomes, horrible injury early in the season, and that's what happened. No, he played the entire time they were
you show flashes
eliminating themselves from the playoffs.
You show flashes along the way of Mahomes is in this game, Mahomes is in that game, Mahomes is in the Chargers game, Mahomes in the Texas game, all the way down there, and it's like, also he doesn't play Week 18, but I can't tell you the record.
Yeah.
I'm losing so much money.
The Chiefs defense will give the third fewest points in the AFC.
I'm losing so much money. Right. Oh my goodness, losing so much money.
And another one, we were talking about this last night. Is the key to this season when Jawan Taylor went out? Have we learned why they put up with all of his penalties? Because the last game he played was the Cowboys game, and that's when all the offense stopped.
I've always said Jawan Taylor was more important than Mahomes. I've been saying that for a long time.
I mean, but the offense went off a cliff.
And you know what? The refs don't even care because Mahomes lines up in the backfield every single play. They don't throw one flag on him. Imagine if Josh Allen or another quarterback lined up like that all the time. There would be penalties constantly.
Do you know how many penalties Jawan Taylor has in his 3 seasons in Kansas City?
3 seasons in Kansas City. I feel like
he's also missed 5. We'll miss 5 games this year.
He leveled out midway through this season.
Yeah, he did.
At some point, there was like, okay, this is enough. After 3 years, how many he's had in 3 years? 31.
Those are rookie numbers, pal.
45.
Those are soft.
Those are veteran numbers.
Sophomore numbers.
Those are veteran numbers. 45 is a veteran number, I think. Compared to
39. It's more than one per game.
56.
More than one per game.
He had 24, 19, and 13 this year.
Getting better.
He had 24 that first year.
That's 5 or 6 better.
But that's why they put up with him, I guess, because he was the key to it all.
He's going to be back down to like 8 next year on a different team.
Oh, he will be.
They're not going to care about his illegal formations next year.
Answer me this: are those just the accepted ones? And he was flagged for
great
more.
question.
There's all times he's been flagged. I feel like that's it. Maybe I was kind of kept track of him.
I had on PFF, and it was 3 a year that were declined.
Yeah, they always have the parentheses.
Basically like
maybe
21.
In the 40s, yeah.
No, it'd be 9 less, so it'd be 47.
Okay.
47.
Yeah.
That is a lot of penalties.
It's a lot of penalties, no matter how you slice it.
It started off because I had Verderame on, and he was like, he's trying to be hyperbolic, and goes, putting up with the 40-some penalties that Jawan Taylor's had in his Chiefs career. And I looked it up and go, you were being hyperbolic, and you undersold this by a lot. It's 56.
Who's second place, I wonder, in the NFL in that time span? Lane Johnson? I don't know.
Somehow it's Joshua Williams on special teams.
It actually might be. You joke.
Jack Cochran.
Holding number 2. If we're doing the last 3 years,
He's somehow averaging more than a penalty per play out there.
Guy played 3 snaps and had 4 penalties. How? Special teams. That's,
Didn't he have 2 on one play, if I remember right?
Oh, I mean, probably. I mean, who knows? I know Jalen Hurts had 2 turnovers on one play.
He did. That was great.
So, yeah, you can have 2 penalties on one play. That's certainly possible. Mick Schaefer is hanging out with us after Christmas break. Apparently we're still on. We're still on.
Yeah, I mean, everybody I know takes off 5 days before Christmas and doesn't show back up till January 2nd.
Yeah. That's I told Todd
I got a real job.
I should have taken this week off along with last week too, and then next week. And then the week after that, just to see how long they would be okay with me saying, no, I'm out this week, right? I'm still out this week. When they would notice.
We should have Advent Health Sports Park at Blue Hawk is what we should have done.
Well, we could go. My kid had his birthday party over the weekend there.
Oh, good. He's 23.
He turned 24 this past week.
I'm
was
going
really
to
cool.
with some friends. I'm excited.
For your birthday?
Boys?
For my son's birthday?
Your son's birthday.
Yeah. You and the boys are going to go play some darts?
These are literal boys. They're 9.
Well, I'm going to kick their ass at
laser
tag.
And the bowling.
Nerds. Push them over.
They have the bumpers up and you're making fun of them the entire time.
Hey, grow up.
Oh, come on. Yeah. You're picking on them more than opposing quarterbacks pick on Shamari Connor. It's just you're pushing them down and doing all that stuff with them. But, yeah, we should go there. Well, we've got some days off. That would be
it would be
cool.
a smart move. I wonder if people do this. You could take a long time off. If you save, you could do the last week in December and then the first week in January and take a long time off.
Good, if your job allows you to do that, sure.
Yeah, well, I mean, we can't. But, some people
can. I think you could.
Took 10 days off in November, right?
No, it wasn't 10. We had days off for Thanksgiving. We took it was only 4 work days, believe it or not.
You were out 10 days and it was only 4 work days?
Yeah, because it was think of weekends, how weekends work.
I do. Well, okay. There's usually 2 of them. 2 days a week.
Think of how Thanksgiving works.
Okay, there's
I got
that's 5. Yeah, you make
down to 6 and then you take off
5.
Thanksgiving and
yeah.
Oh. Yeah, see, I wasn't counting the weekends. It's just you're missing 10 shows.
That's not how we don't do shows on the weekends.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I've only missed 5 shows.
I think he does it honestly. He just does it in his basement. He just pretends that he's still live.
What in his basement?
Oh, yeah. I've only done.
He's a lot.
I've only missed 5 shows. The last show was December 18th. I only missed 5 shows in that time. So
that's crazy, actually.
How
you got to work every day.
Work. Yeah, you do. You work a lot.
My kids are.
It was really cool seeing you Sunday Sound Off last night.
My wife is a. I did that.
Yeah, it's really cool. It's Sunday Sound Off. You work. I work every day. Oh, really?
Except for the day Jason
did some work. I did some work there.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we're back. 2026. Where are the years going, boys?
I mean, it's. Can you believe it's already the end of this year? Can you believe that? Oh man, it feels like
the 90s were only 10 years ago.
Yeah, no, that was a long time ago, man. A very long time ago. All right, we'll take a timeout. We'll come back, and we got Learn Funniest Best. What we learned from the weekend, funniest from the weekend, best
Finally,
from the
a
weekend.
Substantial conversation.
Hanging out with Mick Schaefer. Well, you know what? We got some Anaconda in here, right? Okay, so we got some movie theaters and things like that. Not you, Sterling. We got a lot of things that we talked about in Christmas vacations and Sterling with the boys. And all of those things. And so we'll talk about things that we learned from the weekend, funniest from the weekend, best from the weekend. Mick Schaefer, presented by Advent Health Sports Park at Blue Hawk. We continue more Zone on this Monday next. All right, we continue hanging out with Mick Schaefer, heading up until 2 o'clock. Time for a little Learn, Funniest, and Best.
Which is presented by Cutwater. Real cocktails, perfectly mixed. Create your ritual before your favorite college football game and every Kansas City football game. My dad found out he is a huge Cutwater guy.
Okay.
We had a little holiday party, and he had Cutwaters. He had all these different drinks. He was like, yeah, let me make you a drink. He would go to the side, crack open a can, put some ice in there, and then one of those like dried like limes or oranges in there. I was like, this is delicious. Good job making these drinks. And then we found out it was all Cutwater the whole time. So I got him a few Cutwaters for Christmas, actually. So you can fool everyone to thinking that you're making all these phenomenal drinks, but really it's a delicious drink in a can.
You got him the old holiday 11-pack?
Yeah,
the holiday 5-pack. Why is this? Why is the wrapping paper ripped?
It's the new marketing. It's the new packaging. That's how they're doing
Why
it
is
now.
it ripped here? It's like the size of a hand, and it's this.
Well,
is
Dad,
odd.
I got thirsty. Okay.
I've been waiting around this whole time for this. All right, a little Learn, Funniest, Best. What I learned is that I learned about these gifts, but I also learned in this particular way. In how Michael Darcy said it while we were going to break. He didn't say it on the air, though he should have. And that I learned why Joe Burrow gets sacked all the time by his offensive line is because, while Patrick Mahomes gives all these amazing presents, and then who was it that gifted the cars?
I was talking about gifts, GIF.
Yeah, no, and that would be GIFs. And so this is gifts that you would give for Christmas. The cars that the offensive linemen all got and everything. And Joe Burrow gifted his offensive linemen authentic fossils, like dinosaurs and bears and mammoth fossils for Christmas. So that's what they got. They got some. They got some old bones. Is what they got for Christmas.
Are they at least worth a lot?
I would hope that they would be worth something.
No, you just pay a lot for them.
Yeah.
Here, I named a star after you. Orlando Brown. This is the Orlando Star. There it is.
Real estate on the moon.
I just named a star.
Named a star.
There you go. Everybody, you all have. This is the gift that you really love. I mean, if you look right over there, you got to look real close. Of course, this has also been sold 1,000 times before, this particular star. But I named it after you guys, the star, because you guys are stars in my mind. But no, he gave out fossils to his.
Interesting.
Speaking of fossils, Philip Rivers is still doing the same thing. Threw in an interception in the fourth quarter.
He gave out stuff?
Time is a flat circle. Philip Rivers in a tie game throwing a back-breaking interception in the fourth quarter. It's the same.
I like the segue there of speaking of fossils. Philip Rivers. What did you learn from this weekend, Sterling?
I learned that Bethany's fridge is the most foul-smelling thing. She had accidentally left some expired things in there. She go, I was
the fridge here or
yeah,
at home?
Here.
Okay.
And she's like,
it
had been there for a month at least. She's like, probably 40 days. And it was
40 nights.
Raspberries. I didn't know they disintegrated into
like eggs and salami.
And I was in the office down there, and I was like, what the heck is that smell? We all rushed out, and it was just this nasty old food, and it permeated.
I smelled it downstairs.
Throughout the building. Yeah.
So we're just throwing Bethany under the bus for this one.
We aren't. Sterling is.
Yeah.
Well, it was just a fridge. Someone could have been using it. It was me. I was putting stuff in the fridge. But
I knew it.
It was Bethany though.
It was
it was Bethany's fridge.
Her fridge, not her food. It could be
Could have
somebody
been her
else's
food. It's probably her food, but
it's not the fridge in there.
No, it's by Lebo's office, and then Lebo had to sit there in that smog while he's doing work.
Let me paint the picture for you.
He was wearing the outfits the guys in E.T. wore at the end.
Hazmat suit. Yes. Here, let me paint the picture for you. It is the scene where the next door neighbors walk out to get ready to go for a run, but the crapper was full.
Yes.
In Christmas Vacation when they go, and it's just jarring.
Elaine,
like whoa, what's that smell? And then Bethany went, crapper was full.
Yes.
She was also in an old robe.
Yes.
That was odd. It was not
Fun
appropriate.
hat and smoking a cigar.
Not appropriate for work. That was odd. But okay, so did you learn anything from the weekend, Nick, besides Sterling throwing Bethany under the bus?
That. Mine sucks compared to that.
Anybody at work you want to throw under the bus?
No.
I think it's funny. It's not throwing one under the bus.
This is a put up for somebody. So Harrison Butker kicked a 53-yard field goal Thursday. He now has 35 50-plus yard field goals in his career. I think we can all agree, despite how he's missed some kicks the last couple of years. He's had a pretty good career, right? 35, 50-yard field goals in your career is pretty good. He moved into a tie with Brandon Aubrey, who already has 35 50-plus yard field goals in 3 years. That's maybe a crazier 3-year stat than Jawan Taylor penalty. He has 35 50-plus yard field goals in just 3 years in the NFL.
Insane.
And Butker's been doing it for 9 years, right? 2017. Yeah,
that's phenomenal. Aubrey is an absolute weapon. Neither of them are being in the playoffs this year, though.
No,
so that's good for both of those guys. I think we'll work on more of their accuracy. Michael, what'd you learn?
I learned that the Carolina Panthers can lose out and still win their division if Seattle beats Carolina and Atlanta beats the Rams and Miami beats Tampa in Week 17. Then Tampa Bay beats Carolina, and Atlanta beats New Orleans. Carolina wins the NFC South despite a 3-way tie at 8-9 because of the tiebreakers.
It's a lot of games. Are they playing tonight? Who's playing tonight?
It is Rams and Falcons tonight.
Okay.
So what has to happen there, Michael?
So obviously Carolina loses. Atlanta has to beat the Rams, and Miami has to beat Tampa Bay.
That was before yesterday, though, right?
No, because the Falcons have to beat.
Oh, the Falcons have because Carolina's playing Tampa.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Next weekend.
I learned that math is hard.
It is. But Carolina has a 1-game lead on Tampa. So what you're saying is Carolina can lose to the Bucs, and then a number of other things can happen where Carolina can still get into the playoffs, even if they lose to Tampa Bay. Interesting. I thought that was just a winner-take-all.
And I
thought that was like Pittsburgh and Baltimore.
If the Rams win tonight, then it is winner-take-all.
And but they're not the Sunday night game, right?
They're Saturday night.
Okay.
Yeah, so it's still
they won't know.
Yeah, Saturday night or Sunday night is Pittsburgh Baltimore, which is a straight play-in game. Pittsburgh and Baltimore. Sunday night is that on
NBC, baby? Last one of the year.
All right, cool. It was on NBC. Boy, you guys had a hell of a game last night.
It's good.
NBC. Man, that was an awesome game. All right, let's go to the funniest.
Asked my opinion. I'm part of the
that makes sense.
committee.
That makes sense. Yeah, you're like, is there a chance for a winner-take-all game
Some
to
people
play
will think that
on Sunday night? Yeah, they'll email you if it's not the right game they wanted. Sterling, what was the funniest from the weekend?
Anytime I see Grease Lightning, the song in commercials, because I think the people that put that song in commercials don't know the lyrics of that song.
I didn't know the lyrics until like 6 months ago.
Yeah, and you'll see it, and I can't say it on air. Look it up. If you don't know the lyrics to Grease Lightning, it gets pretty pretty raunchy.
Which advertiser? Which commercials?
There's that I think that car commercial with the Santa where it's like, this thing is automatic. It's Grease Lightning.
Hydromatic.
Yeah, and then you're like, and then they actually cut off the lyric that
Can
goes.
you give me the gist of the lyrics?
Yeah.
Sounds like
it's a real something wagon.
Well, that's one of the lyrics, and they make. Well,
it's sort of like another way to call a kitty cat a kitten. It's 5 letters.
A feline.
Yep, that's right. OPP.
You know me. Yeah, I'd look it up. Look up the lyrics. But anytime I hear that song in the commercials, it's always like some kid-friendly thing. I'm like, that song is not kid-friendly.
Yeah. That's right.
So, Grease Lightning lyrics in commercials, that always makes me chuckle.
There you go. Funniest for you, Nick?
Just the meme going around, the GIF, if you will, and I know you won't. Mayor's Christmas tree moving to Overland Park was the headline on it.
That is pretty good.
Have you told him about the Chiefs yet, Sterling? He was on for that.
What happened?
It's going to blow your mind. We'll do it during the break.
Yeah.
Just read what it says after "You Are Supreme."
Okay,
after it says "You Are Supreme," why do you think they don't say the next one in the song?
In my coffee, I take cream. Grease Lightning. Isn't that what it is? Those are the actual lyrics, right? Mm-hmm. You are supreme. My coffee, I like cream. Splendid Grease Lightning.
Some other parts.
You see the wagon part? Do you see where it says "You Are Supreme"?
Uh-huh. Yeah. Right.
One before that.
Yeah.
Need help?
That ain't bragging.
Do you have eyesight?
Right. I'm just going to read it all.
Okay.
Yeah. Can you just...
he sent me this after Supreme. I'm like, okay.
Yeah, right. I mean, just like there are 70 words on the page.
Okay,
there.
I found Supreme in the middle here.
Okay, there you go.
Did you find Supreme?
Mm-hmm.
Great.
I mean, this could be about
anything.
Birds.
Could.
Chicks could be birds.
Right.
Huh?
What is birds going to do?
That could be a code for they're losing their feathers.
That's right.
But it's not, though.
Yep. No, it is not.
I feel like you can interpret any song and make it your own. That's what the artist wants.
Right.
If this is a G-rated song for me.
You know what? You know what? Bob Valvano used to always say that if you throw in a little, sort of a half punch with a, you know what I'm saying? You can make anything. I'm going to go to lunch. If you know what I'm saying. You know what I mean? We're going to finish this segment, if you know what I'm saying.
That's pretty good.
We're going to get the best from the weekend, if you know what I'm saying, once we get to the funniest. You did your funniest, Mick?
I did. It wasn't funny.
Oh. It was the Grease Lightning thing, right?
No, that was his. Oh. Mine was the headline Mayor's Christmas Tree.
Oh, that's right. That was funny. I like that one. Then he gave you the Grease Lightning lyrics. Michael, what was the funniest for you?
Everything to do with the Pop.
No, that was my funniest. Oh my God!
With the what? Pop-Tart bowl? Yeah.
Did you see the clip of they just full show the Pop-Tart just rip the wrapping off and then lower itself down?
It's
into
the annual
toaster?
Sacrifice.
Oh, that is prime time television.
Do you see the one from behind where they're jumping off the toaster and they're hitting the mat? But the mat's really not big enough for somebody in that costume, and so they eventually hit the turf the second roll.
There were multiple times where I actually laughed out loud, and I don't laugh out loud very often. I do the LOLs on
guffaw. You guffawed.
I went, oh my God. So at the beginning, they were doing the Ring of Honor. I don't know if you guys saw this, but the Ring of Honor for a couple of Pop-Tarts going in, strawberry and cinnamon are going into the Ring of Honor. They're at the Pop-Tarts Bowl.
As they should.
As they should, yes. And so because
who's been in before them?
They're the first ones. This was the first time they entered the Ring of Honor.
Best two picks.
And so because they have sacrificed themselves, they've already been eaten, they are dead. They couldn't be there to accept the Ring of Honor, so they had just a cardboard picture of them set up on one of those easels, right, with the three legs, and they had other Pop-Tarts from the bowl game that were presenting the gold jacket, sort of the greenish gold jacket going to the Ring of Honor. And as they were doing that, they couldn't get the jacket on because it was just a square cardboard picture. So they were like throwing it at it and like trying to put the jacket over it and then the picture fell and one of the Pop-Tarts just tossed the jacket on it and then gave it a salute. It's just a full-on army salute. And then at the end, when BYU had made their way through the Pop-Tarts.
Are you just taking Michael's right here?
No,
we're tag teaming.
We're tag teaming.
Okay,
yeah, tag team. Do you have anything to add before I get to the final part?
I mean, there's a video going around of after they come out of the bottom of the toaster and the coaches kind of pick at them. Yeah. There's just this, I think, a strawberry Pop-Tart that's just manhandled.
It's cherry.
Okay, the cherry one, and then there's just the other Pop-Tart that's looking at it like just watched his son die.
So it was that. Yeah, it was. So they were done. Its cherry is just torn apart, right? I mean, because all of the players had their way with the cherry Pop-Tart, and so the team is leaving. And I think it was another Pop-Tart, though, that walks up in the full Pop-Tart attire, right? And drops to a knee, Mick Sterling, and starts going, why? And just like pounding the table and leaning over, looking at the cherry Pop-Tart and screaming at the sky.
No one has done bowl games better.
I love how they just
Pop-Tarts.
lean into the ridiculousness.
Every bowl game should lean into it, man.
The European mind cannot comprehend the Pop-Tart Bowl.
If you're a bowl game wherever, Tax Slayer, Texas, whatever, and you're looking for a sponsor, the terms run out. You got to look for something fun like that, like a food, Cinnabon, something like that, Cinnamon Toast Crunch, something fun.
Dude, a lot of cinnamon.
Yeah, I did.
Does it have to be cinnamon?
Yes.
The picture
stripper named Cinnamon, whatever.
That's fine. Yes, the picture fell off the easel. He laid it over and gave the salute. It's like it was so phenomenal. That whole thing.
I loved. It wasn't the Notre Dame official account, but it was one of their big bloggers or with Notre Dame news account put a picture of the BYU coach eating it, and it said Marcus Freeman would never. And just people just piled on at that point.
Actually, one of the dumbest things you did was turning down that bowl game. That's so fun. Like, I don't really care about any of the other bowls, but the Pop-Tarts Bowl, what they do around it is hilarious. Awesome. It is great. That was my funniest from the weekend, too. Good call, Michael. Best from the weekend, Mick, we head to you.
So I didn't know this. 30 years ago, 5 Chiefs sang the national anthem before a Chiefs game. They're in full uniform. I got a clip here. You guys listen. See if you can pick out which Chiefs you hear singing the national anthem. It's pretty good, too.
See by the dawn's early light was so proudly we had the twilight's last gleaming
That sounds like Marcus.
Marcus Allen.
Marcus wasn't one of them? DT? It's one of them. Neil Smith. That's two of them.
All along the trenches.
Will Shields?
Will Shields, I think he was the one hitting the high notes.
Tony's not trained.
How many there yet?
How many
95?
So how many of them were there?
You have there's five. You've gotten three so far. You have Derek Thomas. You've gotten Will Shields. You've gotten Neil Smith. The other two are not obscure, but not as mainstream as those three.
Defensive tackle, nose tackle, the big. What's his name? I'm drawing
most are big guys.
Yep.
No, but
tackles.
what?
Are you thinking of Dan Saleamua?
Yes, thank you.
He was not there. Nope. I did not hear Dan Saleamua there. And Grunny wasn't one of them. No Grunny. There's 95. Lynn Elliott wasn't in that, right?
Lynn Elliott was not in there, neither was
he would have missed the notes.
Gerback.
He would not have hit the notes. That's for sure.
He was actually standing like 40 feet away from the microphone.
You have two defensive linemen. Double check. Make sure.
Man. I'm not sure.
DN and D tackle. Pella McDaniels and Vaughn Booker.
Vaughn Booker. Oh, wow. Yeah. I feel pretty
It was
good that I
really
got 3 of the
good.
5.
Yeah,
I feel like... But Sterling's right. The solo...
I thought Marcus
I
Allen
would have
for
gone
sure.
Marcus Allen, because Marcus Allen considers himself a singer.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, he sings...
I'm pretty sure that solo there, that high-pitched part, was Will Shields.
Yeah, I am really shocked that if those guys sing the national anthem, Marcus wouldn't have been one
It
of
was
them.
Derek and Pelham at the beginning, and then it switched over to Will Shields and Neil Smith, and then Vaughn Booker, so big, number 99, in the middle, had his own microphone.
That's
course,
badass.
that's awesome,
why
man.
don't we have the current Chiefs players do
Yeah.
that? Give me Patrick, Travis, and Chris.
And they were
Chris Jones, yeah.
pretty good,
Patrick.
right? Yeah.
Jose, can you say...
Yeah.
Rudolph
The
the
KU
red-nosed
volleyball
reindeer.
coach. KU volleyball coach sang the national anthem ahead of the championship game here in Kansas City.
Oh, that's cool.
He's like a big kind of lounge singer karaoke guy, and he nailed it.
And you know what? And everybody said that coach would never be at the national
Never
championship.
make it to the national championship.
Would never
Yep, he
make
got
it.
there.
Would never be on the center stage at the national championship for volleyball. And people said that when he was hired, and they were wrong. Okay, so let me just speak up for him. Thank you. Okay, very good, Michael. Your best.
My best was in the Arizona Bowl. Snoop Dogg ended up fielding his own kick.
That was one of my funniest too.
Wait, what?
Yeah, he was there. He was part of the sponsorship for it.
It
the
is
Arizona
Snoop Dogg Bowl, right?
Yeah,
Was that
Snoop
the-
Dogg
that was
Bowl.
the one? Okay.
So he was standing by the goalpost, right? He was out of the
Just
end
in
zone.
that back end of
Just
the
back
end
area
zone.
of the end zone.
I think he was on broadcast, though.
Yeah, so
or he was getting ready to.
Yeah, they kick the ball, and it's towards the back of the end zone. The player doesn't even run over there to field it because it's so far away.
Yeah.
And so Snoop Dogg takes 3 or 4 steps onto the field and dives and catches the ball.
No way.
And rolls over and
In
gets
midair,
up.
not after a bounce.
Yeah, and then gets up and then sort of,
great.
sheepishly gets off the field like, oops, my bad. Drops the football, has to put his shoes back on because he dove that quickly to go get the ball.
I mean, he's official Olympics spokesman now. He's trending toward being on money someday in this country. He's going to be like our greatest.
Hear me out. That was cool, and that was actually badass.
Okay.
Nothing against Snoop, but I feel like there's too much.
Yeah, you've been
too
on
much
this
Snoop. I've done it
shrink
for a
the
while.
Snoop game is what you're saying.
Give someone else a chance.
Yeah.
Like I've.
They're doing focus groups though. They're polling and they're saying
50 Cent
people
come
want
out
him
now, or
come on.
I don't care.
He doesn't
someone
have
else.
the personality of Snoop.
Someone else. No, I like Snoop, but it's enough. We've had enough now.
Is it enough?
I liked it.
That was cool, but it's enough.
Darcy hasn't had enough. He just made it his best.
Time for someone else to get the limelight.
So
He's hogging it.
So you would have liked to go and catch the football. Martha Stewart?
I would have liked Martha Stewart to do
So
that.
Snoop
Martha
Dogg
Stewart
needs
Bowl.
to sponsor the game, but get a different
It was
celebrity out
Fresno
there.
State versus Miami, Ohio. I think that game needed a little something.
No, it's fine. This isn't my
There you
argument
go.
for this
There you
game.
go.
Yeah, man, we just took care of the teachers out here. We took care of the Snoopy Football League. These events right here raise money for so many different facets and different pieces of the puzzle. So I'm just honored to be a part of this game so I can give back. The ultimate give back. Oh, this is me. Watch out. This is me. This is me. No!
Caught it.
And it came out of his shoe.
That's awesome.
Middle of the interview.
I'm going to go the opposite way. We need more Snoop.
No, that
Yes,
was
He needs
great.
to go to the nightly news.
No, that
he
was
should be one of the talk show hosts.
That
at
was
night.
great. But like the Olympics, I don't need Snoop there for the Olympics.
Yes.
I'm,
You know?
I'm
There's
Nick,
lots of
you
people.
gotta
gonna be
see the
involved.
catch.
Okay,
though.
I need to see it. Yeah.
You got to see the catch. It's
Man,
a
I love
phenomenal
this guy
catch.
so much now.
Watch this. Boop, coming up. Oh, boom. That is a catch.
That's a catch.
There's a better angle of him bobbling it like three
Yes.
different times.
Right, yeah, from the angle from behind, he catches it, then bobbles it, and then he scoops it up with his arm in the air and then rolls over on his back to secure it.
Listen,
I mean,
we shouldn't celebrate it with Sterling in
No.
the room here.
It's got like
Not at all.
Dave Grohl to do some of these things now.
Really? Okay, that's fine.
Dave
that's
Grohl's
what
a
you-
great
I mean,
choice.
that's fine.
He's a star with personality.
Can we like just switch it up a little bit? That's what I'm saying.
switch it up.
Switch it up a little bit.
The Olympics are for like 4 weeks, and they
Yeah.
span like 100 sports. I think it's going to be, we're going to see more than Snoop. It's not just going to be, Snoop's not taking over for Bob Costas, although maybe he should.
I thought it was odd. Actually, Snoop is going to race
here
for
we go.
Michaela Schifrin on the slopes. I think Michaela's going to
We
miss.
gotta hustle, or
so-
else
so
the
that Snoop-
program's gonna get mad. Come
Okay,
on.
my bad. Best from the weekend is easy. Just Christmas morning with the kids, because that's still my weekend. You know, I get the whole weekend. Yes,
that
it was. So that was my best. Why can't it be my best? Why can't it be? Well, it's my best. Okay, it's my best. I get to choose. All right. The best for you, Sterling.
Shot of 79. Best round
So
of
Yeah,
my
so-
of my
of
life
your
at
life?
Brookridge.
Of your life?
Second now.
You've never broken 80 before?
No,
Man,
two
you talk
times.
about yourself playing golf a lot.
I
for
know.
never
No one
making
says
80.
no one ever says I'm good.
Except for you.
What was it? That's
I've never said I'm good.
breaking 80. That was like a Tuesday for me.
79. 79. I was proud of myself.
Wow, how many foot
You
wedges?
were proud of
use?
yourself for once?
Yeah, for
That's
once.
weird.
About time.
I mean,
You know, I've always said you need to be nicer to yourself.
without confidence, all I have is my good looks.
Right. Yeah, that's true. I've always said that about Mick and Michael and me. And then every once in a while,
But
Sterling says it about
I will
himself.
say, I think the back nine golf helped me. The back nine golf, when it was a little
Is that
chilly,
right?
I got to get dialed in.
Yeah.
Went out. Shot
Yeah.
a 79. That's the correlation.
Yeah,
Correlation, causation.
That's right.
Thank you, back nine.
that's right. Yeah. I woke up yesterday morning, packed the car in Louisville, sweating from packing the car in Louisville at 78 degrees. And then we arrived at 20. So that was fun. That was cool. That wasn't my
That's
best.
kind of how it was here. It
Yeah.
was like 70 in the morning and then like
It's,
20 by noon.
Yeah, it was horrible. It snowed.
It snowed.
What? Yeah, I know. All right, we'll take a timeout. We'll come back, wrap up the show next. One of my final thoughts last night on Sunday Soundoff was going to be about the afternoon game in Buffalo, but we decided we ended up going with New Year's resolutions, sports resolutions.
Yeah, good. Sounds like great producing on that part.
Things like that. Yes, absolutely. But one of my final thought was going to be, we always hear like Bills fans and other fans around the league go, "Can you imagine if Mahomes did that? What everybody would be saying?" Yeah. And then I thought, can you imagine if Mahomes did that? What Josh Allen did? What everybody would be saying? If Mahomes just missed a wide open receiver that cost them the game, he would be torched. Just he's a shell of himself. He's not good. No, Brady would never miss that pass. Brady always makes that pass. And I like Josh Allen. I just hate the commentary around every single play like that being some referendum on Mahomes' entire career when a lot of phenomenal, amazing players miss something like that, and that's unexplainable, because I think if you had that throw 99 more times, Josh Allen would hit the guy and they win the game. But that one time, for whatever reason, he just threw it awkwardly.
For whatever reason, they went for 2.
Or if Patrick threw the ball 3 straight times to MVS on the goal line with the game in the balance, like Aaron Rodgers did.
Yeah.
I don't know if you guys watched the
Did that not
Steelers
work out?
game.
Because Mahomes has thrown the ball to MVS 3 straight times in different games because
Scotty
it was the
Miller was
only
out there,
receiver he
too.
had.
Dude, it was what?
Was Justin Watson on the field?
Well, he didn't have DK Metcalf. That's about the only guy for.
Was that the Eagles game? He dropped the big one.
MVS, that was a steal. Oh, Eagles, yes, for the Chiefs.
One was the
Packers
pass
was the
interference.
Packers pass interference. Eagles drop where Mahomes said I could have thrown it a little shorter.
But I just love that.
55 air yards.
They hit him in the palms and not the fingertips.
Rodgers went to MVS one time. MVS ran the wrong route.
Well,
he threw to him again. He ran the wrong route. Third time, let's give him a third chance. And it was like, I'm like, what is going on? Why do you keep going?
It was a tougher pass. It looked like it could have been pass interference.
Listen, when you talk about me, you better call me Marquez. When you criticize me,
Marquez, yeah.
See, you got it wrong.
Yeah.
I did. I forgot.
If I'm good, it's Marquez. If I'm bad, it's like, I don't know. That's not even my name. Yeah.
Well, it wasn't also his fault. I'm also like, why do you keep throwing it? That's not his game. My point was, if Mahomes did that, he would get ripped
for sure.
on.
No, it's and he's won a Super Bowl with MVS as his number 1 receiver. So
was he number 1?
The year that they beat the 49ers? I mean, Juju was there with the Packers. I mean, I guess it was Rashee Rice at that point at the end of the season, so Rashee Rice moved into number 1. But they entered the season with MVS, and then it was Sky Moore and Kadarius Toney were going to take over. Although Sky Moore's done some pretty good things with the 49ers, being one of the better return men in the league.
What's that mean?
It means he's returned to the NFL as a better player.
There. You're easier to catch punts.
It's a dry cold.
It is.
That's right.